It's been a while since we streamed on YouTube, so I don't know if everything is still the same. Hopefully, I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna start utilizing the scheduled stream. That way, I can give you guys more of like a heads up when we're starting live, and then it won't just be like boom out of nowhere. But I highly recommend get on Discord, have your notifications on, and then if you're not on Discord, have your notifications on for YouTube. That way, you guys can see, when the lives happen and then when new videos are posted. But press one in chat if you guys can see and hear me right now. I feel like there's a lot of additional steps when I'm doing the multi-stream because I start my stream on Twitch and then I have to press a button for YouTube and then another button and then another button and then another button. And then I think that's when it starts. So hopefully it is working right now. Okay, so Subliminal says, yay, it's on. All right, cool. Hey guys, how's it going today? Let me make the font size a little bit bigger. It's really tiny. All right, cool. Hello. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Subliminal. How are you guys doing today? Thank you so much for joining us. So right now we are in Fairfax, Virginia. And if you guys are familiar with what's happening on the East Coast right now, even I think like in the Midwest, there is a winter snowstorm. So they actually don't have court today. They don't have court tomorrow, but it gives me ample time to catch up. Although I'm pretty caught up with the all pair trial. I am on day 7 right now, which I think is the latest one that is out. I believe so. So we're catching up and the defense is presenting their case. Now, just a quick little summary about this case. The reason why this case caught my attention was because there was a video that popped up that Vinny Politan had posted, and he was talking about this au pair trial. And I was like, oh, interesting. Oh, Fairfax, Virginia. Okay, I'm quite familiar with the area. Judge Ascarati, the same judge that presided over the Det v. Hurt trial, very interesting. However, when he talked about the details of this case, essentially, Brendan is he's accused of murdering his wife, but it's not that simple. He's accused of having an affair with an au pair, Brazilian 22-year-old who was a live-in au pair taking care of their 4-year-old child. And about a year in, they started having an affair. Now, Brendan's like, well, I don't want to divorce my wife. Divorce is not an option. Okay, why not? Are there a lot of assets? Is it because like the wife is crazy? Is the wife really rich? Is he afraid that, the daughter's gonna be taken away from him? Is he think that like, she's gonna take all his money? No, it was because he was just like, yeah, I just, don't want to have like custody issues with my daughter. Okay. So what does he resort to? He resorts to making a fake account for his wife on this like fetish app, essentially getting someone to come over and, making it look like something was happening to his wife and he would come in and rescue and save his wife. However, what happens is when you have 2 people involved in a crime, allegedly, sometimes the other person flips and turns on you because they're going to try to save their own butts. Sometimes that happens. Now, essentially, this whole thing is really wild, but the good thing is that the opening statements are pretty quick, straight to the point, which I really appreciate. The defense's opening statement was very short as well. I actually thought they were going to cover a lot more, but this trial goes on pretty quickly, I would say. By the time we get to, I think, day 4, day 5, it's already the defense's case. All right, guys. Oh, I hope not. I don't know. I think what happens, Jasmine, I hope not. Yeah, so have your notifications on Discord. I recommend, if you have a Discord account, or if you don't, you want to make one, feel free. But have your notifications on. I would say the Discord is like the best way to really see like when I post new videos for this channel, when the streams go live, and then also when, if I have videos on my second channel with all the vlogs and stuff like that. All right. Honestly, crime sites are so abnormal. I know. I saw it was like Fairfax, Virginia. Fairfax. I was just talking to this girl who is originally from Fairfax, Virginia. And I was like, did you not hear about the crazy murder that is happening right now? The murder trial? And she's like, no. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's wild. Fairfax, Virginia. Fairfax, Virginia is a very quiet, chill area. Pretty nice. I used to hang around that area and get food there. Hey, Joe, how are you doing today, Joe? Thank you so much for the resub for 53 months on Twitch. Hello, how are you? Hi, Midnight Grave. How's it going? Hope you guys are doing well. So, I'm curious though. 1, in chat, if you guys have already seen like footage of this trial. 2, if you're like, I've never heard about this trial. It's happening right now. What? And 3, if you're like a mixed bag, if you're like, like I didn't watch all of it, but I watched it here and there, some parts of it. I'm just kind of curious to see if a lot of people are watching in on this because, like I said, I didn't really know much about this trial, but I was really intrigued because 1, Fairfax, Virginia, I was like, oh, familiar with this, area. Judge Ascarati, she's a presiding judge. And then also when we hear about the details of what the defendant is being accused of, it's wild. It's pretty crazy. Jasmine's like 0. Okay. We have 1, we have 3. All right. Three, I've heard of it, but I didn't realize the trial began. Yes, it began about, I think about like 10 days ago. So today, what I'm planning to do, I'm going to listen to the opening statements with you guys. Again, they're pretty short, quite straight to the point. We'll listen to the state's opening statement, the defense's opening statement, and then I'm going to jump on over to the au pair's trial because the au pair, the reason why she's testifying against the defendant, I mean, they were lovers for about almost 2 years. However, she was the one that was arrested first. She was incarcerated for a few months. And at some point, she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna, agree to the plea deal. Initially for the plea deal, I think she was offered, what was it? What was she offered initially? Something that was just like pretty small. Her plea deal now is manslaughter with time served. But before, oh no, I think they offered her a misdemeanor and she rejected that. She rejected the misdemeanor. Anyways, there's a lot about this trial. And I think that's what we're going to be covering for today. Tomorrow, we are going to be streaming again. And I want to cover the body cam footage. We'll watch that with you guys together. They didn't show the body cam footage in the trial. However, we do have the body cam footage. And, I'm going to make sure that there's like nothing on there that we shouldn't be looking at. But I think it's fine. I don't think they show anything that's like gruesome and grisly or anything like that. All right. So what again was his plan? What will be the result be? So he wanted to leave his wife for the 22-year-old Brazilian au pair, but divorce was not an option because he didn't want to have custody issues with the child. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to resort to murdering my wife. However, he is he calls himself a federal agent, but he works with the IRS. I don't know. When I think of like federal agents, I'm like, oh, like you're doing some like really cool stuff. Nah, man, this guy was working with the IRS. Okay. No shade at people who work with the IRS or anything like that, but it just doesn't sound as exciting as like, ooh, federal agent, you're doing something more exciting, more cool. But he was like, I don't want it to be traced back to me. If I hire someone to murder her, if I do it, it's going to be traced back to me somehow. So what he does is he takes his wife's phone, creates a fake account on this like fetish app, where the wife is essentially soliciting for people to come over and have sex with her. However, there's this like fantasy thing where it's like, oh, I want you to break into my house, and I want you to, I'm trying to say in a way where we're not gonna, get like dinged, but like, I want you to ravish me. And no matter how much I fight back, it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan. However, there are some caveats. I want you to leave your phone in the car. I'm not going to have my phone on me. We're not going to meet ahead of time. We're not going to FaceTime ahead of time. So there's a lot of red flags here where most people would probably be like, you know what? This seems a little bit weird. I'm not going to engage with this. However, they were able to find someone who was willing to. And unfortunately, maybe they were just very, I don't know. Some people, I guess, are just maybe not as careful, unfortunately. Maybe a little bit, what's the word that I'm looking for? Pretty much, okay, pretty much. So the plan was the man was going to come over and it was going to be a planned consensual thing where he's basically like ravaging her. And the husband walks in and was like, oh my God, this guy's attacking you. And then he's supposed to save the wife from the attack. But then at that point, they're going to try to make it look like the wife was attacked by the man. So we'll listen to the opening statements, and then if there's more context, that I'll probably give you guys more context because like I said, I've already seen like day 6 of the trial. We're still, I think, on the beginning of day 7 right now. This plot makes it sound like the premise of a Law and Order SVU episode. It's just, it's just like the crazy things that people come up with, and the fact that they actually think that they're going to be able to get away with it, pretty wild. I mean, the au pair, 22 years old, young, naive. But this man, I think he's like maybe like mid or like late 30s. Just, yeah, I don't know. Just like, just so silly. Anyways, the word that I was looking for was naive. In reference to the man that decided to ignore all the red flags and pursue this adventure. All right. Hi, Beaver. How are you doing today? Hello. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. So let's jump in. We'll listen to the opening statements, and they don't show exhibits on here, but I do have some exhibits on my other screen. So I'll drag them over as we are going through them, just so you guys can see some pictures and stuff like that. But dude, it's wild. It's sad. It's crazy, and the daughter that they have together, she was 4 years old at the time, essentially losing her mom and possibly losing her dad because he might be incarcerated for the rest of his life. I don't know. How do people come up with these plans? It's just crazy. It's beyond me. All right, y'all. Let's jump over to Judge Asgarati again. Do you guys did she look familiar to you guys? Same judge who presided over Depp v. Heard, and we haven't seen her in a bit. I think it's been what, I think 5 years since we've last seen her on a trial. Crazy how time flies. All right, guys. Let me make the audio loud, and I might need to boost the audio up. I think the audio is not the greatest. I think for like the initial first days, I think the audio gets a little bit better. But let me do some audio stuff.
Notes if you need to follow along with the details, there will be many, and then be thoughtful in how you consider this evidence when it's time to deliberate. We're here today because Brendan Banfield, the man seated behind me, killed his wife, Christine Banfield, and another man named Joseph Ryan. Those two individuals had no reason to know each other, but for the plotting and planning of Brendan Banfield. Christine, back in 2022, was 37 years old. She was an ICU nurse working at Inova Fairfax. She was married to Brendan, who was then 38, and they had a daughter, 4-year-old Valerie.
Oh, yeah. So the victim, Christine, 37 years old, and Brendan was 38 years old. I forgot how old he was, so I just wanted to point that out. Now, how's the audio? It's a little bit, kind of sounds like she's yelling into a fishbowl, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. We've had way worse audio. Let me know if I should. I turn it down a little bit because I think it's just a little bit too loud.
38, and they had a daughter, 4-year-old Valerie. Christine worked odd shifts. She was a nurse. Many of you know what nurses' hours are. She could work nights. The schedule was irregular. It didn't occur with a 9-to-5 pattern, so regular daycare was not an option for the family. They hired an au pair, Juliana Perez Magalhães. She was from Brazil. She was 22 years old when she joined the family. She provided care while Brendan traveled for work, and Christine worked her nurse's hours. The family lived in the Reston area of Fairfax County at 13230 Stablebrook Way. You'll hear that out.
And there's going to be body cam footage. I don't think we're going to watch in this one, but the neighborhood, it's a very nice residential neighborhood. The houses are big. They're very spaced out. It seems like a very quiet area. So for something like this to happen in this neighborhood, it's probably pretty fucking wild. There's going to be a hell of a TikTok that daughter will make someday. Story time, how my dad murdered my mom by singing her up. Yeah, possibly.
That address referenced, you'll see pictures of the home. You'll have the opportunity to understand what the layout of the house was, as it is very relevant to what happened in February of 2023. Taking you back, in August of 2022, Brendan began an affair with Juliana. Initially, it was just sex when Christine was at work or asleep, but eventually it developed into a relationship. They went on dates. They went to bars, clubs, dancing.
And you know what? She was posting this on her, I don't know if this is Instagram or what, but she was posting it on social media. Now, she did block out his face, but I mean, come on. Like, I don't know if that's their bathroom. Maybe it's a hotel bathroom. Is that a auto Glider? I don't know what that is. Oh, let me fix the, sorry. Let me fix the angle for you guys because we had it zoomed in. There you go. So this is December 2022, about 2 months in after the affair started, and roughly about 2 months before Christine is going to be murdered. She posted on her social media. She blocks his face out with like smiling face emoji. And I'm assuming maybe, Christine didn't follow her on social media, and that's why she was a bit brazen about it. But she did hide the face, though. At least she did that. Here's another post on her, I guess, like Instagram story where it's his hands or his hand on her thigh. Creepy. Like, ugh. I think this is a video of them. I don't know if there's music, though, so we're not going to play. I'm going to mute it, actually. We'll play the video. That's her. That's the au pair. And she puts a little smiley face over him. Okay, I guess maybe there's no music. So she was like posting all over social media about this affair that she was having with a man who's married, who was her employer. And he's married to a wife and they have a 4-year-old kid together. Like, she just doesn't care.
They went on romantic bike rides. By the fall of 2022, they were fully in love, planning their future. On a trip to New York, Brendan revealed his desire to get rid of Christine. Divorce was not an option for him. He didn't want to lose custody of Valerie. He didn't even want to share custody of Valerie. He thought Christine was a terrible mother. He wanted her out of the picture. And he convinced...
But he thought a 22-year-old would be a better mom.
Young Juliana, 22 years old, not from the United States, living in his home, in love with him, that they should get rid of Christine. He talked about hiring a hitman, finding someone to kill her for money, But he was concerned that that would tie back to him, that there would be too much evidence against him and that he could end up at risk. So they crafted a plan. They would use Christine's email accounts to create a fake profile to lure someone in who was into kinky sex, violent sex. And they would get this guy to come into the house and fake rape Christine. Brendan would be the hero of the day. He would show up, kill the guy, kill his wife, pretending that it had been that guy. That was the plan. They put it into action. Brendan created a FetLife account. If you're not familiar with it, it's a social networking app for people interested in fetishes, sexual kink. He posted as Christine, seeking.
But see, can you imagine the wife's reaction? So she's in her bedroom, she's asleep. Strange man comes in, starts attacking her. And then her husband comes in to save her. That must have been a sense of relief. That you're being rescued, your husband is there to take care of you. But then all of a sudden, your husband turns on you and starts coming at you and stabbing you. So what are the things that would go in your head during that time? Would it be, oh, is he stabbing me because he's angry and he thinks I'm having an affair? Oh, but wait a second. Why does he have a knife with him? Why was he already ready to attack me? I just feel so bad for her. There must have been so many crazy thoughts going through her mind at that point. And she was already going through a traumatizing event of being attacked by a strange man in her room. I feel so bad.
Seeking fulfillment of this stranger kink. He posted as Christine, seeking fulfillment of this stranger rape fantasy. He and Juliana spent weeks chatting with potential victims, searching for just the right guy who would follow Brendan's plan to a T. Because remember, this plan hinged on several things. Christine never knowing that it existed, and Christine never being expected to meet with her potential fake rapist. In this community of people, there weren't many takers for such a risky plan. It had red flags all over the place. But by January 24th...
Yep, but like I mentioned, the red flags were, one, they didn't want to meet in person first. They didn't want to talk it out first. They didn't want to slowly work their way to, this fantasy. Because like typically it's like, just going from like 0 to 100, it's a little bit risky. It's like, ooh, there's a lot of red flags there. Oh, you want me to break into your house? Like what if your husband's there? Like, I don't know, man, I don't know you very well. What if you're not the person that I'm speaking to? There's just a lot of red flags. And they went through multiple other potential people, but those people were like, nah, I think I'm good. Like, this is a little bit weird here.
2022, Brendan had found his target, Joseph Ryan, posting as Taco Supreme 7000. Joe engaged in friendly conversation with who he thought was an attractive woman due to kink. Brendan, posting as Christine, spent a month creating this relationship with Joe that would eventually lead to Joe's murder.
Yeah, it was the husband. It was the husband and the au pair that were pretending to be Christine. But like, can you imagine the type of messages that the husband would have to write pretending to be his wife to get this man to be very interested in doing something like this?
Meanwhile, other things were going on to prepare for this murder. Brendan bought Juliana a gun and took her to the shooting range to teach her.
Here's the footage, or here's a picture of them. Like, why? I mean, she's 22 years old, young, sure, stupid. You posted this on social media? There's this picture that you took while you're at the gun range. Why? Because you're prepared to learn how to shoot someone, just in case, right? Why would you post this on social media? Or maybe she took a picture and sent it to her friends. I don't know. It just seems really crazy. But thank you for documenting everything.
Shoot. Brendan had Juliana help him test out the soundproofing of the new windows that had been installed at Stablebrook Way. By the time this plan was ready to be hatched.
So a few months before she was murdered, I think about like a half year before she was murdered. Was it a half year? I don't know. It was like a few months before she was murdered. I don't know the exact date of the installation, but the husband decided to install windows in their house. Initially, they were planning on doing like double pane windows, to help with the sound, maybe to help with like insulation. But Brendan was like, no, let's pay extra and let's do triple pane windows. That way, just in case, perhaps if Christine were to scream, maybe the neighbors won't hear. If there's gunshots, maybe the neighbors won't hear, right? So that's a theory that the state is going on with right now, that they had installed these triple pane windows. That way, if Christine needed to shout or yell for help, people couldn't come in and help her.
Joe was fully on board. He had not questioned any of the asks of him. He had continued to engage in this relationship and appeared to be the perfect willing victim. Brendan created a narrative that Christine desperately wanted to be raped. Posing as Christine, he told Joe what to do. Come to the home in Reston. The door will be unlocked. Christine will be asleep in bed. Come straight upstairs, cut off her clothing, tie her, rape her. Simple and fun. That was how it was posed. Joe was willing to follow these rules that Brendan set out posing as Christine. They would not meet in person beforehand.
Yikes.
Joe's phones would be left in the car.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that other red flag. So the instruction was, hey, no matter what, how much I resist, just keep going. And then the other instruction was, leave your phone in the car. And if you were someone that was planning this, I mean, it makes sense, right? Why would I leave my phone in my car? Oops, I'm trying to zoom in on this. But that's his phone that he left in his car. Car was parked in the neighborhood or in the driveway somewhere. But, you know, I guess just in case if something were to go wrong, then Joe would not be able to call for help. He would not have access to his cell phone. Oh, boy.
Joe was to bring a knife, zip ties, chains. And most importantly, he was not to stop. Even if she looked terrified, even if she was calling for help, he was to follow through because that's what she really wanted.
I think we have a picture of the stuff that he brought to the house. Let's see. I think this was it. So here's a photo of the items that he brought to the house. We have, I don't know. This looks like a workout band actually. So maybe it could be used for like, you know, tying someone down. We got like these like little clothespin clips. I think that's it's that like an apple ball gag type of thing maybe. We got Astroglide, we got chains, we got locks, maybe electrical tape right there. I'm not too sure what that is, but it seems like to be the stuff that Joe had bought in his backpack. And a receipt for something. Can we zoom in on that? We could probably zoom in. Can't really move around left and right though. Hold on. Can I? Oh, here's a receipt for, oh, like him getting food somewhere. Yeah. Oh, maybe that's an apple and orange. Maybe he was eating that. Face mask. Very unfortunate for Joe.
On February 24th, 2023, Brendan Banfield's birthday, the plan was put into action. Knowing that Christine had the day off, Brendan and...
Wait, that was his birthday? I didn't even realize it was his birthday. Is that supposed to be some sort of celebratory thing? Like, hey, for my birthday, I want my wife to be murdered so I can run away and be in love with this au pair. Jesus. Is it an apricot? I couldn't tell. It looks like a blood orange or something.
Juliana arranged on February 24th, 2023, Brendan Banfield's birthday, the plan was put into action. Knowing that Christine had the day off, Brendan and Juliana arranged a fake outing for the zoo fake outing at the zoo for Valerie.
Apparently, Christine didn't initially have the day off. I think Brendan convinced her to take the day off, and so she did.
Juliana and Valerie packed a lunch, prepared for this fake outing. Christine, still in bed, asleep, at 6 a.m. Brendan takes her phone and Valerie downstairs. He chats with Joe to confirm a 7:20 arrival for the execution of the fake rape.
So we know that Joe's phone is going to be locked in his car. However, the other concern was Christine's phone. What if Christine gains access to her phone? And what if she takes her phone and calls 911 and calls for help? Well, Brendan and Juliana, they had a solution for that. They put Christine's phone downstairs in a drawer. So again, the defensive story is probably going to be Christine was the one that was messaging Joe. Christine was the one that was talking to this, like, you know, this guy online, and things just went wrong. And Brendan really was there to walk in on that. However, why would you have your cell phone all the way downstairs in a drawer in, I don't know, this looks like a kitchen drawer or something like that. Maybe a kitchen drawer is like marble right here. It's possible that, you know, maybe someone just, if maybe you did leave your phone in the kitchen drawer, you just forgot about it. Or did they put it there so she wouldn't have access to it? Also, I do wonder did they leave the phone there? Because I would imagine if you were maybe, you know, you're planning things out a little bit better, wouldn't you have taken Christine's phone and then later on put it back next to her bedside table? Like, did they just leave it in here and they forgot about it? It just seems like a very, very odd thing to do with the phone.
And Brendan then disables the door lock.
Like, it just looks really suspicious.
And Brendan then disables the door lock, preventing it from automatically locking.
Yep. I think we might have similar apps. So there's an app that you can get where you can install this like digital door lock thing, and you can lock your doors and unlock it digitally on your cell phone. And sometimes when you have this set up, you can make it so it auto locks after like 30 seconds or a minute, depending on what you want to do, right? So they probably had an auto lock feature. However, Brendan probably unlocked his phone from, I don't know, maybe he was, I don't know if it's McDonald's at this point. And then afterwards, he made it so that the door would stay unlocked and not auto lock again later on. People keep their phones near them, especially parents. Yeah, I think people generally would do that. So maybe it was just like, maybe they were planning on putting the phone back next to Christine's bedside and they just forgot because there's so much happening and it would be weird to be running around the house. Maybe they had blood all over themselves. Possibly. But it just seems like an oversight, you know, because if the detectives find that Christine's cell phone was for some reason all the way downstairs in the drawer and she has a stranger coming into the house where her child lives, where, you know, they've got a dog together, there's other people. It just seems really weird that she would not have her phone with her, just in case.
Turns off.
If she was planning it.
And Brendan then disables the door lock, preventing it from automatically locking, turns off Christine's phone, and puts it in a drawer in the kitchen, where she couldn't possibly find it to call for help when she finds an intruder in her home. Brendan leaves the house, followed shortly by Juliana. Brendan drives to a nearby McDonald's. Juliana waits in the cul-de-sac. The plan to give a call out to Brendan as soon as she sees Joe.
Now, this was pretty thought out because Brendan typically does not get breakfast at McDonald's, but I believe the days leading up to it, the state says that he purposely, oh no, I think it was Juliana's testimony, where he purposely would start getting breakfast in the morning. That way it wouldn't be like a random day where it just seems so out of the ordinary that he would just get McDonald's on this particular day. I believe that he started getting breakfast early. That way would show that like, oh, you know, this is not abnormal. I typically leave and get breakfast in the morning nearby.
Valerie's in the back seat, and Juliana has a gun in her pocket. When Joe arrives, Juliana calls Christine's cell phone first to create a record of a fake warning, even knowing that the phone is turned off. She then calls Brendan to let him know that Joe is in the house. Brendan leaves the McDonald's, drives directly to the home, meets up with Juliana, and with Valerie in tow, they re-enter the house through the basement.
They took the 4-year-old daughter with them. She was in the basement while her mother was being killed. Now, do you find anything odd about this, by the way? So the au pair is with the daughter in the car in the neighborhood still, right? She sees the strange vehicle pulling up and a man coming out of the house, entering into inside the house. What does au pair do? She tries to call Christine, like, oh my gosh, there's a strange guy here. What's happening? But of course, Christine doesn't answer her phone because Christine is sleeping and her phone is all the way downstairs in the kitchen drawer. So she calls Brendan and Brendan's like, you know, oh shit, like, let me come back from McDonald's and see what's happening. But if you guys got a call and there was a stranger walking to your house and you don't know who the fuck they are and your wife is sleeping, wouldn't you just call 911 yourself? I mean, yes, I would head back to the house and see what's going on, but your wife is already there. It's going to take you, a few minutes to get to the house. Wouldn't it be best to call 911? No one calls 911? Brendan doesn't call 911. Juliana doesn't call 911. That's kind of strange.
Juliana, nervous, screws up the plan and calls 911 too early. She hangs up as soon as Brendan's giving her the signal that this wasn't the plan. They leave Valerie in the basement. They sneak up the stairs to the bedroom where they hear Joe Ryan and Christine.
Here is the layout of, so here's what the house looks like. Let me zoom out really quick. This is the house, large house, single family home. This is the kitchen area. And it's so sad to see these pictures because I don't know, there's just like so much life here. There's like kid stuff everywhere. There's family photos. This is a lived-in house. There's a lot of activity happening here. Here is, I believe, the basement where, because for some reason they enter, instead of entering through the front door, They decided to enter in the backyard through the basement and go upstairs. Like, wouldn't you want to just enter through the front door? Front door going to upstairs where your wife is a lot faster than going to the back, into the basement, up the stairs, and then going upstairs to where your wife was. I don't know. Like, they went to the back door. I wonder what their explanation for that was. I don't think there's any police interview footage. Again, photo of the kitchen. I mean, arts and crafts everywhere, iPad, hairbrush, you know, toys, stickers. It's so sad. Just destroy a family like this. Here's a photo of Christine's cell phone, the victim, in the kitchen drawer. And I think, was there a photo I was going to show you guys of the basement? I already showed you guys that one, right? Yeah. Okay, let's go back. How did the guy enter the house again? There's an app that you can use that unlocks the doors. And then to prevent it from auto-locking, you could turn off that feature. So I think earlier I said he broke into the house. Sorry, I meant like just walk into the house. He technically didn't really break into the house.
To the bedroom where they hear Joe Ryan. This wasn't the plan. They leave Valerie in the basement. They sneak up the stairs to the bedroom where they hear Joe Ryan and Christine.
Also, if there's like a stranger in your house, would you leave your daughter in the basement? You don't know there's other people there. It's kind of weird. Wouldn't you leave the au pair in the car with your daughter if there truly was a stranger break-in? And then you would call 911, and then maybe Brendan would go up there to try to rescue his wife, right? Oof.
Brendan enters the bedroom first, shooting Joe in the head. Picks up the knife that Joe had brought and stabs Christine repeatedly in the neck. He directs Juliana to shoot Joe a second time with her gun. This time the bullet enters Joe's chest. With Christine dead or dying, Brendan spends the next several minutes manipulating Joe Ryan's body, in the process leaving Christine's blood on Joe's hands and pants.
Now, I believe the reason why the au pair, Juliana, was arrested first is because she was the one that dealt the killing blow to Joe Ryan.
Juliana calls 911, this time as scheduled, to report the intruder, and Brendan tells the police, "I shot him, he stabbed her." You'll hear all of this from Juliana, but we're not asking you to believe her alone. You'll hear from witnesses and experts about all of the evidence that corroborates the facts presented. You'll see the FetLife chats. You'll see the Telegram messages. You'll hear and see the phone call details. You'll hear the 911 calls where Brendan admits to shooting Joe. You'll see body-worn camera video from the responding officers.
So again, we're going to watch the body-worn cameras tomorrow.
You'll see photos of the crime scene and the physical evidence collected. And that's where you should focus your attention. Because while Juliana presents us with the narrative, that story that we wouldn't necessarily know but for her details, it is the blood evidence that you can rely upon without a doubt. The blood cannot lie. And the blood puts Brendan Banfield standing over Christine, stabbing her in the neck until she died. With that evidence, we will ask you to find Brendan Banfield guilty of these murders, the associated charges of neglecting his child, and of creating a danger for her in that home. Thank you.
Very short and to the point. Now, after listening to that, what are the high expectations that you have from the state when they present their case? The high expectations that I have are going to be, okay, well, we're going to be listening to the au pair's testimony. And then two, the blood evidence. Those are the two things that if the state doesn't deliver, I'm going to be pretty disappointed. So that's going to be the key things that I'm looking out for. Hey, Cosmic, how are you doing today? Hello, how are you doing today? Hi, Rita. I found that weird too. How would they know? Exactly. There was only one intruder in the home, especially if there is a backyard, if there's a back door. What if other people came in from the back, right? Like I know that the au pair was sitting outside and saw, Joe Ryan going in. But what if there's other people? Or what if other people would have arrived afterwards? Just leaving a child alone, 4 years old, and you have an intruder in the house. Really, really weird. Oof. All right. Well, that was the state. Let's listen to the defense's opening statement. Again, very short and straight to the point. I think I felt a little bit disappointed with the defense's opening statement, but let's give it a go.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we had a long day yesterday, and we talked about a lot of the issues that would possibly come up, and they're going to come up today in terms of the story that the Commonwealth just told you, and what I think you should be looking out for in terms of the evidence. There's some interesting things that, in order to assess, first of all, what they're saying, and second of all, the evidence that's going to be before you, is you have to look at certain timelines. So the murder of Christine Banfield by Joe Ryan occurred on February 24th, 2023.
You hear that? The murder of Christine Banfield by Joe Ryan, not the defendant. All right. So he's saying that the defendant didn't kill Christine. My client didn't kill Christine. It was Joe Ryan, the guy that came on the FetLife. But, I mean, does that make sense, though? Does that really make sense? So are they saying that Christine orchestrated her own murder to be murdered by Joe Ryan? Are they saying that Joe Ryan decided to come in to murder Christine? Like he had a change of plans, you know, like, oh, forget the fetish thing. I'm just going to go murder. That was the intention. That was the plan all along. If you had two adults that consented to this, why would it lead it to murder? Oh, did I not have captions on? I thought I did. I'm sorry about that. Ooh. All right, the captions are on. Sorry. I don't know how I missed it. I usually always have captions on. Hi, Alice. How are you doing today? How's it going? Isn't that logged in the app, him turning off auto lock? I'm not quite sure. I don't know if digital forensics ever found that out. I don't know if it was the au pair who told investigators about that.
The arrest of Juliana Perez Magalhaes took place in October of 2023.
So they were only together. They had their happy fairy tale honeymoon stage for 8 months, okay? Because she was arrested the same year, but in October.
She was held for nearly another year before she made the statements that are the full and complete support of what the Commonwealth just told you. And she did that because the Commonwealth decided that they were going to give her something certain. They were going to give her a plea of guilty to a manslaughter, which is a lesser included offense, and guaranteed time served upon her testimony here today or tomorrow or whenever that testimony is.
Now, remember, she pled guilty to manslaughter, but she was offered a misdemeanor before that she turned down. Oof. Oof. Almost having like a Sarah Boone moment there. What was Sarah Boone offered again? She was offered like 15 years, but at that point she'd already served like 4 years, but then she could have potentially gotten off early by serving like, I think 80% of her time. I don't know. But now Sarah Boone is there for life.
Or whenever that testimony is. You're going to hear a timeline of events and evidence that you'll have an opportunity to look at where she was arrested in October of 2023. And the whole reason she was arrested was to flip her against my client. You'll hear that evidence from someone other than her and other than me.
I mean, that, and also it was her bullet that killed Joe Ryan, I think.
And they tried, and they tried. In a correspondence that she wrote to my client on January 1st, that was given to him, she says, they want you. All they want is to get you in this case. They want me to say things that aren't true. They want me to say things that I did that aren't true. They offered me a misdemeanor. She declined a misdemeanor.
And I wonder if her attorney was like, I don't know. I wonder how her attorney felt. I wonder if the attorney was like, hey, they're only offering you a misdemeanor. Fucking take it. She's like, no, I'm not taking it. I'm not taking a misdemeanor. I don't know. I really wonder what the conversation was like between her and her attorney at that point. Or maybe the attorney was like, hey, you know what? It looks really good. You're looking really innocent. Decline the misdemeanor. Let's take it to trial. Fuck it. But damn, a misdemeanor? A misdemeanor?
Facing second-degree murder at the time. And then as the case went on, it became very clear that they wanted him so badly that they were willing to do anything. They made offers, not as good as a misdemeanor, but as time went on, for a manslaughter, suspended time, but she had to testify against Brendan. You'll hear there were at least 4 or 5 times during that year leading up to Brendan Banfield being charged where they came to her, they went through her attorney, and they offered that deal that she now stands to have taken. Now, why is it that she wouldn't have taken that then? Well, we heard in the first instance, she said, they're asking me to say something that isn't true. And so let's look at another timeline that I think is appropriate. After she was arrested, she had a preliminary hearing in April of 2024. And you'll see communications that show real anxiety in terms of what was going to happen.
I also want to point out this, the attorney that was representing her, when she was arrested for participating in this entire scheme, murder thing, was paid for by Brendan. Isn't that kind of odd? Isn't that kind of strange? So you're telling me that the au pair is arrested as a part of your wife getting murdered and also Joe Ryan, and you're going to pay for an attorney to represent her. Seems a little bit strange. But you know what? Maybe it's not strange, because when law enforcement came in, I think to arrest Juliana, they noticed something was very different in the bedrooms. Juliana initially had her own bedroom. There was like a room that had a Brazilian flag like hanging up here. Okay, that's her bedroom. She's got a Brazilian flag there. She's had, all her stuff is in there. This is like her closet. She's got her clothes, her shoes, her sneakers. I don't know, clubbing attire, what it seems like. But I think this is a picture of them going back. When they went back there, they're like, oh, well, the Brazilian flag is still there, but the sheets are kind of different. The closet looks kind of empty. Man, wonder where all her stuff went. When they came in to arrest her, I believe this is the footage they had. Juliana had moved into the master bedroom where Brendan also slept at. And if you look very closely, it looks really fucking tacky, but we got these gigantic photos. Look at how big this is. Look at this big ass portrait of Juliana and Brendan. Like what, 8 months after Christine was murdered, in this exact same bedroom where Joe was killed, in this exact same bedroom. We got pictures of them too. There were pictures of Christine and Brendan before, but those have all been removed. Now it's Juliana and Brendan. We got a little card of them there. There's also a picture of Juliana and Brendan just within 8 months after Christine was murdered, in this very bedroom. Pretty crazy. Now, I know that like sometimes when something happens to your significant others, sometimes you do want to move on. Sometimes it feels better to move on to a new relationship with someone that you've already known in your life. Maybe it's like your best friend. Maybe it's your wife's best friend. Maybe it's your au pair. Sometimes it happens. It doesn't mean that, you murdered them, but man, I can't imagine this looking very good for the jury. Pretty suspicious, pretty weird. And it's only been about 8 months. Anyways. Oh, and also, here's a closet. Juliana's clothes are already in the closet where Christine's clothes used to be. So the clothes that were in the other bedroom months before, when the stabbings happened, when the murder happened, when the shootings happened, her clothes weren't here. Now they are, 8 months later. Pretty wild.
After the preliminary hearing, then the first trial is set for July of 2024. Her attorney continues the case against her will. There's correspondence that says, I wanted to go forward. I wanted to show my innocence. Continued it to October, I believe. No, to November 12th.
Yeah, so he's going to go after Juliana. He's going to go after, Juliana's attorney. Like, oh, he kept continuing the case even though Julia wanted to try her case. Well, I think there was like new evidence that came in and the attorney was like, oh shit, we got to like review these. So let's continue the case. I'm not ready.
During that point in time, she lost trust in her attorney. She lost hope because he was the only person for someone who was thousands of miles away from her home, from her family, from the people that supported her. She lost hope in the person who was there to represent her. Whether that's true, whether that's right or not, I don't know. But what you'll see in this timeline that I'm going to create for you through evidence is that she was upset. And she said at one point, I can't believe he continued this case. I didn't want that. I don't want that. I just want to go forward. He better not do that again. We go through a period of time into September. The stress and the anxiety starts to really ramp up for her.
Cheryl says hi.
Approaching her November 12th court date. My client gets arrested. In her mind, she loses even more hope because he was the person who was on the outside who she really was depending on. They had an affair. You're not going to get any disputes from us.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. You know, we weren't really sure if you were going to dispute and say, like, oh, we never had an affair. What are you talking about?
But he played a role, a supportive role to her while she was in jail, while they tried to do their little experiment on what would she take in order to come forward and tell a story. You'll hear in October, she went for emergency surgery, had a gallbladder surgery, spent 2 weeks in the hospital. And soon after she got out, she received word that her attorney was going to continue the case again because he needed to get a digital forensics examiner in order to review the evidence. That hadn't been done up until that point. That was the last straw. Whatever deals that had been rejected, the most recent time was September 30th. Whatever deals had been rejected, she was in for now. One of the deals was suggested by her attorney after she was upset with him in July. They get together, they arrive at this, and they have a recording of the questions that they're asking her during what they call the recant. You're going to hear some of those recordings. Now, any of you who have any sort of investigative roles in anything that you do, when you're talking to someone who's deciding to flip, you don't just take their word for it, you challenge them. Investigators challenge the statements that are being made.
I mean, you're probably corroborating too to make sure that whatever statements that they're going to make sure it corroborates with the evidence.
And so October 25th marks the first day that statements were made. Many of you may have seen that because it's showing up on media. And you hear someone asking her questions and then she answers those questions. Well, what we're going to be able to show you is that those answers are wrong based upon other evidence that we have in this case. But no one ever challenged her, no one ever questioned her. And so in order to have this narrative and this story that you received, Juliana Perez Magalhães is at the center of all of it. She's going to talk about where the gun was at one point, and then I think in the next recant she says it was a different situation with the gun. She said she ran into the bedroom and used the combination on the safe to get the gun, and then she had it been given to him by, or it was given to him by Brendan Banfield. I'm sorry, given to her by Brendan Banfield. You're going to hear there are significant differences in many of the things that she's providing to the Commonwealth, some of which are changing even up to most recent prep sessions, which we had access to, of December 30th. So the question will be, what's the final statement? I think we're all going to get that. But you're also going to see what she's done all along the way. Now, the Commonwealth used her for their case. I understand the situation that she's in, and I understand the fact that she's away from home, and she's young, and she's dependent on people, and she's also depending on the Commonwealth. And they put her in this situation. And she's accepted it gladly, and I'm sorry to say, many people would. But it's the devastation that causes when you ask for that kind of testimony to be included in your case. Now let's just talk a little bit. Jeremy, just get a sip of water.
Got a little dry mouth over there.
Of the other things that are going on in this case. And I think you'll find this through the evidence. So what essentially, and you may have heard it in media, is there's a theory called catfishing. And catfishing, for those who don't know it, and people more experienced and more expert than I will be able to tell you specifically, essentially is assuming the devices of someone in order to get something done, is the easy trick. There's probably more sophisticated explanation for it. But what they're saying is Brendan Banfield assumed his wife's devices, his computer, her phone, any other devices, in order to take on take on her persona in order to invite this gentleman, Joe Ryan, in. Catfishing is a theory that requires a conclusion that Christine Banfield gave up her devices.
Gave up her devices. I mean, what do we know about Christine so far? Christine is an ICU nurse. She works at not a regular 9 to 5. I mean, you know, maybe she works late nights. Maybe she sleeps in throughout the daytime. But Brendan's awake. The au pair's awake. Would it really be so out of the imagination that while Christine was sleeping during the daytime because she had just worked a long shift, is it out of the ordinary that, you know, maybe Brendan and Juliana were able to obtain Christine's devices and possibly use it to message people? And it wasn't just like Christine only had a cell phone. There was like I think like a cell phone, maybe like an iPad, maybe like a laptop, multiple devices. So it's not like, hey, Christine's like, hey, I gave up my devices. It's like, oh, I was sleeping and shit, someone was on my phone. Someone who lives very close to me and probably knows my passwords. Oh, hello, Chai. Thank you so much for the 78 months. How are you? Did you come up with names yet? Hello, hello. Thank you so much for the resub. I hope you're doing well.
The Commonwealth's experts have concluded from the moment that the devices were examined and extracted that she did not give up her devices. And so then started the turmoil within the police department that I think is going to come out here. I doubt it'll be in the Commonwealth's case, but there were people within the command staff who were trying to change what the experts said about Christine Banfield's devices. They were trying to say that Christine Banfield did give up these devices or was away when those devices were being used. But you're going to have a conclusion that was from the very early moments that she had not given that up. Now that's significant.
So in order to make this, like, I think what happened was there's a fake email that was created under Christine's name. That email was used to create the FetLife account, but it was created on Christine's, I think, like phone or iPad. I think cell phone, because I think there's that, you know, when you link your cell phone to an account, basically what happened is they're like, okay, well, we're going to send you this like 6-digit code onto your cell phone. Can you please verify that this device is actually linked to this email address? So is it really something that you wouldn't be able to imagine that if Christine was sleeping, Brennan got a hold of Christine's phone while she was sleeping and took her phone and verified, you know, the email address using Christine's phone? Now, I think initially, before Juliana had flipped on Brendan, initially they were like, yeah, you know, the email was created on Christine's device. That email was used to create this FetLife account, and it was verified on Christine's cell phone. However, you always need more context. And when we get more information, more context, when Juliana flipped, Juliana was like, oh yeah, we were the ones that did that. It wasn't Christine. Yes, we used her phone. Yes, we used her email address. Yes, we used her devices, but we were the one that were using it, not Christine. So yeah, sometimes when you get more information, things change. That's not out of the ordinary.
Because all of the things that Juliana Perez Magalhaes has talked to you about is inextricably intertwined with catfishing. And so you're going to hear evidence from their expert witness. You're going to hear evidence from an expert witness that I have that concurs in their expert witness's findings. And in the world of digital forensics, there's a saying, digital forensics doesn't lie. People lie. And there are going to be plenty to see. You're going to see manipulation within the police department where if those that wanted the catfishing theory, if the line homicide prosecutors, homicide detectives didn't agree with this theory, they were transferred. When this case started, there were 12 people in the homicide squad. As this case goes to trial now, there's only 4 of those 12 there.
That did catch my interest, though. It's like, ooh, inner turmoil within the homicide squad. Ooh, there were 12 people in the case initially. Now there's only 4. Oh, what happened there? Were there disagreements? Did people transfer out? What happened? Were they fired?
Important ones that were removed, in part because they
Damn, this defense is athletic because they are stretching. I will say, though, it was quite intriguing when he mentioned this. Like, oh, shit, like, I wonder what happened to the homicide squad.
important ones that were removed, in part because they didn't agree with the people that peddled the catfish theory, the lead homicide detective, the digital forensics detective. And this was back in late 2024. I don't know how many of you are familiar with criminal prosecutions and investigations. I was a prosecutor myself here at Fairfax.
He was a prosecutor. Isn't that interesting? He was a prosecutor. Now he's a defense attorney.
I've never experienced a homicide investigation where the lead homicide detective was moved prior to a trial.
Yikes.
Digital forensics, I probably aged out of digital forensics, but that's a very important aspect of this. So I couldn't say personally whether that would have happened back in my day, but there are factors here that I think that...
Oh, he hit him up with the back in my day. Oh, how long ago were you a prosecutor then? It must have been a while back then. Like back in my day, I don't know, man. Digital forensics.
Haven't been brought forth by the Commonwealth. And in my efforts at presenting evidence, I'm going to be trying to bring that to light. As I indicated, there are serious timelines. There's a vulnerable person who's open to pray for what it is that they need. And I would respectfully suggest that Juliana Perez Magalhaes is the linchpin to all of that. Now, ultimately, it's the evidence. It's not what I say. It's not what the Commonwealth says. But I say these things to you so that your ear is ready, because you're going to see a presentation of a horrible, tragic, awful event for everyone involved. And there's no disputing that. And as I said earlier, we're not disputing, you won't hear any dispute as to the relationship between Brendan Banfield and Juliana Perez Magalhaes. But there's an awful lot more to look for, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what I'm asking you to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kerr. All right, your first witness.
Huh? He prosecuted OJ. No, he was in Fairfax, he said. OJ was not, wasn't OJ in California? In LA? All right, so defense's opening statement. What are our thoughts? What are our thoughts on defense's opening statement? He focused on destroying the credibility of Juliana, essentially saying that, well, she was arrested, and for the entire year, she decides to flip on Brennan because, well, who wouldn't if you're in that situation? Who wouldn't want to flip and get this, what was it again? Manslaughter, right? Get this manslaughter when you're facing second-degree murder. Who wouldn't? And the reason why she flipped on him was because she wanted this sweet-ass plea deal. The second thing that he focused on was the investigation unit. Well, something was going on with the investigation unit. It seems like not everyone agreed with the catfishing theory. And for some reason, well, we had 12 people that were on the homicide unit, and now we're only down to 4. So that definitely perked up my ear when I listened this for the first time. I was like, oh, that's interesting. All right, well, he better deliver then. We'll see what happens. And then going back with the state's opening statement, what I'm looking for when Juliana, the au pair, when she testifies, is she going to sound credible? And then 2, the blood stain analysis. What are we going to learn from that? All right. So I'm thinking, should we listen to the 911 call? Let's listen to the 911 call, and then we will get to the, actually, hold on, let me think. Yeah, let's do 911 call, and then we'll get to Juliana's testimony, because she is going to be testifying.
I'm going to do is I'm going to play the 911 calls.
All right.
This is one.
February 24, 2023, 7:47, 32.
Fairfax County 911, where's our emergency? Hello, Fairfax County 911.
February 24, 2.
So I think that was the first call that the state was talking about, where she had called 911, but it was too premature, that she had screwed up and she didn't follow the plan. Because at that point, when she called 911, well, they hadn't killed Joe yet, and they hadn't killed Christine yet. So she fucked up.
2023, 7:47, 39.
And this is 2.
24, 2023, 7:47, 49.
Did the au pair use her own phone for both 911 calls? I believe so. I actually have a screenshot of her phone, actually. Give me a second. Did I close it out? Juliana, Christine. Oh, I got it right here, actually. So I think this is a screenshot of Juliana's phone. I'm just basing it off of Christine's phone number is on there. Brendan Hosto's on there. 911. So I believe this is the au pair's screenshot. So initially she called 911. Well, here's what happened. She calls Christine when she sees Joe walking to the house, and this is a fake call because Christine doesn't have access to her phone. They hid it in the kitchen, allegedly, right? In the drawer. Then she calls Brendan, and this is supposed to be like that. Oh my God, there's a weird guy in your house going inside. Your wife is sleeping. Like, who is this guy? Do you know him? You don't know him? Oh my gosh, you should come back home right away. And then when they enter the house through the basement, she accidentally calls 911, and Brendan's like telling her to like hang up because it's too early. We still got to murder these people, I guess, I'm assuming. At some point when it's the correct time, then they call 911. I don't know. It's just like 3 times. So I don't know if there was like maybe like a hang up and she was trying to call, hang up or something like that. I don't know. But it seems like she was one that called 911 on her cell phone device. Here is a screenshot of Brendan's phone. So Brendan gets a call from Juliana, the au pair, at 7:37. Brendan tries calling Christine. Okay. All right. You know, because it would make sense that he would try to call and be like, hey, you know, who's that going to the house? That doesn't make sense. I think he calls Juliana saying like, oh my God, Christine didn't answer. And then I guess calls Christine again 2 more times. But do you know what's missing that I mentioned earlier? If a strange man is walking into your house and your wife is sleeping and your dog is there, won't you call 911? Just in case, you know? Just in case. Is a stranger going inside your house? Call 911. What do you have to lose?
Please leave your message for 5714261.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened. Like, they're trying to call. I don't know if they actually call like the non-emergency line, but I don't think so. Because the non-emergency line is actually like 10 digits or 9 digits long. 4, 7. I'm trying to think how many are there. 10, right?
1, 2.
Hello, this is Fairfax County 911. We had a call from this number. If you have an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. This call was named error. You can disregard this message.
0205.
Fairfax County 911. Where's your emergency?
I need help. There is my friend. She just was stuck in the night now. She's bleeding a lot. I don't know what to do anymore.
Okay, where are you located? What's your address?
So she says, my friend, she was just stabbed by a knife. She's bleeding. I don't know what to do anymore.
Oh my God.
Take a deep breath for me. Just let me know your address.
It's 1-3-1-3.
Okay, 1-3. Take a deep breath for me. You're on Stablebrook Way? Are you on Stablebrook Way? What's your house number?
It's what's the number of this?
Is there somebody else there that can give me the address?
13230 Stablebrook Way.
So she can't get the information across on the phone. Brendan takes over.
Okay. And what's your name and what's going on?
My name is Brendan Banfield. I'm a federal agent. This is my house. There's somebody here. I shot him. But he stabbed her. She's bleeding. She's got several marks on her neck. What do I do?
Okay. So get the story out there. I shot him, but he stabbed her. She's bleeding. She's got several marks on her neck. It's kind of interesting at how he kind of distances himself from his wife instead of saying like, oh, my wife, you know, or like my wife, Christine. He's like, oh, he stabbed her. She's bleeding.
So what I need you to do is apply direct pressure directly to where she's bleeding from, okay? And if it becomes silk, just add more cloth to what is already there. How old is the person?
I don't know.
The person that's bleeding?
37.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like, how old is the person? But he's not thinking about his wife at the time, it seems. He's thinking about Joe, the guy. So that's why when she's like, oh, how old is the person? He's like, oh, I don't know. And the person's like, no, I'm talking about the person that's bleeding. I think it's because he's not thinking of his wife at this time.
Okay, so the person that you shot, where is he?
I don't know. I don't know him.
Okay, where is he though?
He's here. He's on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I know that like people can act very differently when something tragic is happening, but it's like there's just like such a lack of concern for his wife. It seems like if I was a jury, I'd be like, oh, that seems kind of weird. Like you'd be like panicking, you'd be crying, you'd be like, oh my God, my wife is gonna die. She's gonna be okay. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, I need help. Like, when are you guys gonna come over here? Like, when are the police arriving? We need an ambulance. Like, hurry up, please. You know, it's just kind of like he's just chilling. It sounds like he's chilling. I wouldn't call 911 because if he just walked in, it means he was let in. So I assume it was a friend or whatever, but not a murderer. I don't know, man. If I have my like significant others like sleeping in the house, you know, my dog is there, and like some person just rolled up in there and just walked on in, like I wouldn't assume that like there's a murderer. I'd just be like, oh my God, this is a person that's just like some stranger just like coming in. Like this is weird.
Okay. Okay. And the person that he stabbed, where are they now? Are they still in the house? I have rescue coming to you.
It's my wife.
Is this what I'm just
So now he mentioned it's my wife.
to know what to do?
Okay. So I want you to get a clean cloth and apply direct pressure to where you're bleeding from, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you the one that's bleeding? Just keep applying pressure. Don't remove it.
Yeah, and if I'm the jury, I'm also watching him too. I'm watching his reaction to this 911 call because it would just be so traumatic to have to relive this.
If it becomes soaked, just add more cloth to what is already there. Do not use a tourniquet. If one is already on, don't remove it, and don't throw or flush any blood-soaked items, okay? And, sir, I need you not to touch the weapons or disturb the scene at all, and don't touch or remove any impaled object, okay?
Now, apparently, when law enforcement, when they testify later on, or the defense, by the way, I think they're going to go to the body cam footage, and the defense shows the jury the body cam footage so they could see like how Brendan was and like how I guess the chaotic the scene was. But one of the questions that the state's asked in redirect or in cross-examination was, so in the body cam footage, you notice that there's sheets everywhere, right? There's like towels everywhere. Okay. So when you came in to respond, Brendan was kneeling next to Christine. Did you notice him grabbing any towels or sheets or anything, pressing on Christine's neck? It's like, oh, no. So it's like kind of weird. Wouldn't you want to try to do everything to stop the bleeding, stop the blood? Grab the towels and stuff like that? I don't know.
Sir, hello?
And he was instructed by the dispatch, I want you to get a clean cloth and apply direct pressure to where they're bleeding from.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Let me.
Okay. Are you the one that was injured?
She's not responding.
Should I want in why he's living?
Okay. Can you tell me how her breathing is?
I just how her breathing is.
She's heart's still beating. She's
Okay.
still breathing.
Okay. Just keep applying pressure to where she's bleeding from and just put her on her side, okay?
On her side?
Yeah, on her side. You said she's breathing normally. She's just not responding to you?
She's got a very big hole in her neck.
Yeah, exactly. Cases, I can look past a ton of stuff people say or do in shock from extremely traumatic things that just happened, but I'm really missing him being desperate for help. Also, towards the end of the state's case, they have Christine's father who testifies, and Christine's father will say that when Christine was a child, she had issues with nosebleeds. She would just bleed profusely. We had to get help, and I guess she was diagnosed with this blood disorder where maybe it was hard for her blood to clot or something like that. But Brendan knew about this when Christine gave birth to their first child. I think maybe Christine had to take like certain types of medication that way she wouldn't bleed out. So Christine and bleeding seems to be a very serious issue. So for law enforcement to arrive, Brendan kneeling over, next to his wife and not applying towels or anything like that onto her neck and applying pressure, knowing that she has bleeding issues, that seems very odd. Also, if you were Christine and you were prone to bleeding and stuff like that, would you really tell your soon-to-be consensual assailant to bring a knife to fake this assault? Seems really risky.
Okay.
Yeah, and also, yeah, they also talk about blood and stuff too. Like, oh, bring the knife. There was like mentions of like blood. I don't know, like I don't know, some sort of like blood play or something like that. Like, exactly. If you had a blood disorder, would you really want to be bleeding everywhere?
Just keep applying pressure, okay? Just keep adding more cloth what's already there. And who am I speaking to? Who are you, dear? Are you?
If you believe the state, she's a homewrecker.
Okay, so who's the person? Where's the person that's bleeding? Where are they in the house?
Oh no, actually, they conceded that they were having an affair, so still a homewrecker nonetheless.
They're upstairs.
Okay.
But you know what? Britain's also the homewrecker too. I don't like how homewrecker is a term that's only applied towards like the mistress. If you're the guy and you're married and you're also engaging and cheating on your significant other, you're also the fucking homewrecker, okay? Both of you guys are.
Okay, and where is the person that was shot? Are they also in the house downstairs?
Yes.
Yeah, in the bedroom too.
Maybe they ran out of clean towels. I mean, you would still hold that bloody soaked towel, just apply pressure. I would think.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Can you just send help, please?
Yeah, they're on the way. They're coming to you now, lights and sirens, okay? And any weapon is secured, correct?
Again?
Any weapon is secured?
I have the weapon.
Okay, can you just leave it where it is?
Yeah.
Okay. And you say you don't know the individual that was shot?
No.
No, whenever things the
Okay.
person.
I can't understand what she's saying.
And sir, where are you? Are you taking care of the person upstairs?
I'm trying.
I was trying, but
Okay.
it takes too long.
Okay, I have officers that are pulling up outside, okay? So just make sure the weapon is put placed where it is and it's secure, and just keep applying pressure. And make sure your door is unlocked. Can we make sure that's done?
All right.
Okay. And if there's any animals, please make sure they're put away.
Unlock the door.
Daughter's still in the basement. 4-year-old daughter is still in the basement. What if there were other people in the house? What if there were other assailants?
The door. What is it?
And there's 2 people there. I mean, if he really was someone that walked in on this horrible tragedy where his wife was murdered by this random dude, I mean, your number 1 priority is 1, keeping your life alive. And then 2, hey, go secure my daughter and make sure she's safe.
Okay, so make sure your weapon is down, sir. And that you're coming to the door with your hands up so the officers can see you.
Okay. I'm unlocked.
Okay, and the weapon is down?
Are you there? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Are they coming?
Yeah, they're on the way. You should see them soon. They're pulling up outside right now. Let me know when you can see them, okay?
I just with them?
Mm-hmm. You should be able to see them soon.
Huh? I hear them.
Okay, so are we... Okay, and no one has a weapon, right? The weapon's down?
The weapons are down.
Okay.
That one's down.
I hear them.
Okay. They're pulling up outside. Just keep applying pressure to where she's bleeding from and just make sure she's
Okay.
okay.
Not.
Here we're doing this. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me know when the officers are with you.
Want to come here?
Yeah, they're pulling up now. They're gonna make their way to you. Mhm.
Okay.
I'm showing them outside.
I'm here.
They're here. They can come in.
I'll go ahead and disconnect with you. Speak, please, okay?
Come in. You guys. It's right here.
Where's the gun at?
We need help.
Where's the gun?
It's up here.
Here on the bed.
I actually want to see if I can find this really quick. When did the defense start presenting their witness? I think day 6, right? All pair trial. I think it was day 5. So the defense calls one of the law enforcement officers so they can play the body cam footage. Again, we don't get to see the body cam footage, but I think they want to show that, like, oh my gosh, you know, Brendan was in so much distress. So was Juliana. He was really sad. He was crying. He was upset when law enforcement came. But, oh gosh, the cross-examination by the state. I think it was witness number 2. I think it was towards the end. Let me see if we can find it really quick. All right, the transcript is loading. And I think we are. Where's the end right here? I found it. So this is the defense's witness, by the way. The captions on, let me boost the audio.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning.
Afternoon, I apologize. When you entered the room, Mr. Banfield was on his knees next to Christine Banfield, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. But Mr. Banfield wasn't using that blue towel we see to staunch the bleeding from her neck, is that correct?
Objection to leading, Judge.
It's
It's
cross-examination.
cross-examination.
I do not believe he was, no.
Okay, and he wasn't using the nearby blankets, correct?
Correct,
Okay, and he wasn't using the sheet?
correct.
Okay, thank you, nothing further.
All right.
And what do we hear over and over again in the 911 call? She told him to use a towel, grab the blanket, you know, just to make sure to try to, like, press down, stop the bleeding. That's so crazy. That's so wild. Like, did he forget to pretend? He knows there's gonna be body cam footages. Oof, not a good look. Not a good look. Now, let's hop on over to state's witness. Juliana. Juliana's gonna be testifying today. Oh man. Let's watch Brendan's face as Juliana walks in to testify against him. Did she make eye contact with him or did she ignore him? I don't know. The EMTs also said there was a lot of blood was partially dried. Some of it was fully dry, which sounds like they took their time to call. The state's theory was that the reason why the 911 call was delayed was because they were positioning Joe Ryan's body in a way that looked like he attacked Christine. And you're going to hear from Juliana's testimony. Apparently, I think it was Brendan that was trying to scoop blood from Christine and put it on Joe. Even Sarah Boone pretended CPR. I don't remember that, did she? Maybe she did. All right, here comes Juliana.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Commonwealth, your next witness
Is Juliana Perez Maliahis.
All right, ma'am, if you could stand and face the clerk and raise your right hand.
You swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law? Yes. Thank you.
All right, you can have a seat.
Dennis was watching me watch this earlier. He was like, "That's the au pair," and I was like, "Yes, that's her."
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Could you please state and spell your name for the court record?
Yes, Juliana, Juliana, Perez, Beres, Magalhães, Magalhaes.
And how old are you now, Juliana?
25.
And do you know the defendant?
Yes.
What's his name?
Banfield.
When did you meet him?
Back in October 2021. 22.
When did you meet him? When did you meet him?
Well, can you specify? Sorry.
When did you first meet him?
In person when I first came to the States, and before that, through a video call with the family.
Okay. Do you recall what month or year that was?
When I came to the States?
Yes.
It was October
Do you know what year?
2021.
Okay. And when you first met Mr. Banfield, what was
She gave the wrong date earlier, so the state had to clarify that.
your relationship to him?
It's professional. He was my boss.
And you said he was your boss.
Yeah.
What was your job?
I was their au pair.
And so you said you worked as an au pair. What does that mean?
Au pair is like a nanny position, but somebody comes from another country, providing care for their kids, and in exchange they live with their family, and yeah.
Okay.
basically.
Do you get paid to be an au pair?
Yes,
How much?
$200 a week.
$200 a week as a live-in au pair? That's so crazy. 200. Like, I know, like, if you live in Brazil, $200 a week is a lot of money. But like when she's living in the U.S. and she's probably paying for, I don't know, food, housing, probably not because that's probably included. But like, damn, $200 a week.
And how long of a stay did you have as an au pair?
We can have from a year to 2 years, but as an au pair, I stayed for a year.
Okay. And did you? So you arrived. You said you arrived in October of 2021, and you said you stayed for a year.
Shunrai says, I love how this guy's showing no emotion. I mean, if he cared, there would be some type of emotional tone, especially if you care. I think people are kind of thinking that, Kay, you know, you're thinking of like, so like, I don't know, like the thumbnail photo, like, I guess she looks pretty, but it could be angles, you know, it could be angles, blonde, red lipstick. But when I was showing you guys the photos of Brendan and the au pair, I mean, she kind of looks like what she looks like now. Let me see. There's a picture. There's like a picture of them together in the bathtub. Like, she looks like that. She just got eyelashes. She kind of looks the same to me. Oh, sorry. It's zoomed in funny. Like, she kind of looks like that. It looks the same. Just with eyelashes.
Year.
Yeah.
And then did you extend that stay?
Yes.
And how long did you extend the stay for?
I think I might have extended for another year.
Let's talk about when you lived with the Banfield family and worked for them as their au pair. Where did you live?
I lived in their house, in their home.
No, I think maybe it was through an agency. I don't know, because how would she have gotten over here from Brazil? How did they find her? I'm thinking maybe they're an agency.
Okay. And who lived there with you?
It was Brendan, his wife Christine, and their daughter.
Because if it's through an agency, I'm assuming you're gonna have to pay taxes. Like, you're gonna have to pay taxes. If you're not paying taxes, like, oof, if they catch you, they're definitely gonna send you back.
And you know who Brendan is?
Yeah.
Who's Christine?
Christine was Brendan's wife.
And you said their daughter?
Yeah.
What was their daughter's name?
Valerie.
What was your life like with them?
With the family?
Yeah, when you first got there, what was it like?
It was kind of a period for me to adapt to the family, to my job, to the country. But I was very welcome, I guess.
And what was Brendan like when you first came to live with the family and be their au pair?
When my mom died, I held it together enough to talk to the cops and break down by myself in the bathroom. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. So sad.
We barely
Tips? I don't know if she was getting tips. Do they normally give au pair tips?
spoke. Like, my relationship was mostly with Christine and Valerie. Brendan and I barely spoke at all. It was just...
Okay. What was Christine like?
Christine was very friendly, very welcoming.
Really? Christine was friendly and very welcoming. Why did you stab her in the back then? It'd be a different story. She was like, oh, Christine was horrible. She was mean to Valerie. She was mean to Brendan. No, she seems to be a very lovely person.
Very fair. Yeah.
Did you spend time with her and spend time with Valerie together?
Yes.
And did you spend time on your own with Christine?
Oh, the tip. Okay, completely went over my head when y'all were talking about the tip. Ew.
Maybe a couple times going to a store or, yeah.
Do you recall if Christine had a blood disorder?
I heard about it, yes.
And do you know the name of it?
I do not know.
Oh, even the au pair knew about the blood disorder.
Do you know if she took any medication for it?
As far as I know, no.
What was Valerie like?
Valerie is very loving, very caring. She just...
How old was Valerie when you met her in 2021?
She was 3.5, I guess.
I'm sorry, say that again?
3.5.
And were there any...
It's just wild. I mean, good relationship with the daughter, too. It's like, how could you have done this to her mom then?
other children that were living in the Banfield home while you lived there too?
No.
Do you know if they had an au pair before you were their au pair?
Yeah.
Who was that?
It was Amanda.
And when you began working for the Banfields, do you need a minute? When you began working for the Banfields, do you remember what their jobs were?
Yeah.
Or do you know what their jobs were?
Yeah, Christina was RN, and Brenda was working, I guess, as an investigator for the IRS.
At some point, while you were working for the Banfield family, did your relationship with the defendant change?
Yes.
How did it change?
It became sexual, physical relationship.
And do you recall when the relationship changed?
It was August 2022.
So about a year after being their au pair.
And did you keep the relationship, this new relationship with the defendant, did you keep this a secret?
For my part, some of my friends, they knew because I told them, and I used to post on my Instagram.
Yeah, she was flexing, man. She was like living this new life in America with this white man who had this nice house, you know, they had a kid. Like, she was just like flexing on her friends, I guess. Like, look at me. I'm 22 something years old and look what I've got. Ugh.
But for his part, yeah, it was a secret.
Okay. You said you told some friends about it.
Yeah.
Do you remember which friends you told?
I told Beatrice about it and Pamela.
And did you take any photos of you and the defendant after you began a romantic or physical relationship?
Yes.
And you said you had posted some things to social media?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to show you a couple of photos.
So the photos that were shown were the ones that I showed you guys earlier. It was they don't show the screen in this trial, which is kind of annoying. But there's a photo of her and Brennan, bathtub. Anyone here speak Spanish? I would ask ChatGPT to translate it, but I'm too lazy. Her, Mr. Smiley Face, Brendan. I mean, honestly, she looks the same. It's just that she's got eyelashes and she's got makeup. And the glasses don't really do her much justice, but she looks the same to me. Photo with Brendan with his hand seemingly on her thigh. This is right before New Year's. Oh, man. All the meanwhile, Christine was probably at work. Working as a nurse at the ICU.
And if I could
Oh, that's right. Brazilians speak Portuguese. Thank you. You're right.
have this view be to the witness and counsel only, please.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
actually do know that. So they're going to go through the pictures.
It's me and Brendan.
And are these social media posts that you made?
Yes.
Judge, at this time, what I would ask the court to do is admit these as Commonwealth's 51, 52, 50, and then a couple of these have noise. And then this one, Commonwealth's 53, can you describe who this is?
It's Brendan's hand.
And whose leg is that?
My legs.
And the date on the photo that is posted, is that the date that the photo was taken?
Yes.
Who's under the emoji?
It's Brendan.
Do you know when this photo was taken?
It's from the same day as the previous picture.
As the previous one?
Mm-hmm.
And in that post, who is present in that post?
His person behind the emoji.
And who is behind the emoji?
Brendan.
And is it you and Brendan singing in that post?
Yes.
So you began a sexual relationship with a defendant in August of 2022 when you were how old?
I was 21.
And when this relationship began, did you ever think about how it might end?
No, I didn't really think it was a serious relationship.
And did the defendant ever talk with you about any long-term plans for the two of you?
Not initially.
Not initially. Did he ever, though?
Yes.
When did that talk start?
I think he started after he talked about his plan.
Okay. And did he ever talk about the two of you getting married or the two of you having children?
Yes.
And do you recall when that talk began?
Also, after he mentioned his plan.
Did he ever talk about his relationship with his wife, Christine Banfield?
Sometimes it would come up in our conversation and he would talk about it.
And what did he say?
He used to say that she didn't seem to care about where he was, what he was doing. She didn't seem to care about him at all. And that she was helpless and...
Yeah, they don't work 24/7. That would just be inhumane. But if they're hanging out, if Juliana and Brendan are hanging out on New Year's Eve, then she was probably at work. She probably couldn't get off. And she did, I think it was mentioned, whether it was an opening statement or maybe later on in her testimony, that they would basically have the affair while Christine was at work.
It's lazy.
Do you recall when he said those things?
When?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. So apparently Brendan was complaining about Christine, calling Christine that she was helpless and she was lazy.
Lazy.
Do you recall when he said those things?
When?
Yes.
well, many times during our conversation when she came up.
And did he ever talk to you about anything else about his relationship? Did he ever talk about getting a divorce with her?
No, he basically said divorce was not an option.
Did he say why?
Money was involved.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Money.
Okay, anything else?
Money was involved in Valerie's custody too.
And what about those things? Did he say anything specifically?
I mean, how much was he getting paid as like an IRS agent? Was there a lot of money that he had that he wanted to keep away from Christine? Was he afraid of splitting the money with Christine or something? Like,
About money or Valerie's custody?
Yeah, he said that he didn't want to have to share Valerie with Christine, that she wasn't good for Valerie. So he wanted to have Valerie full time.
which is pretty wild to say that the mother of your child was not good for Valerie. She wasn't good for her, but the two murderers, or soon to be murderers at this point, would be good for Valerie. The logic.
Money plus she would have more money than he would if they ever split.
And so he didn't want to get divorced. Did he tell you what he wanted to do?
Yes.
What did he say?
He mentioned his plan to get rid of her.
And you said he mentioned his plan to get rid of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When did he talk about that first?
I would say it was in October 2022.
And what specifically was his?
I don't know, dude. Maybe Brendan was just so surprised that a 22-year-old Brazilian would fall for him or something like that. They had an affair and they were only together for like 2 months. 2 months. At that point, you were already plotting on murdering your wife when you were together for 2 fucking months?
His plan to get rid of her.
Initially, he didn't really know what he would do. He just mentioned that he was thinking about it and he would think better and let me know when he thought about it. Yeah.
Where were the two of you when this first conversation took place?
New York.
And were you on a trip to New York with only him?
It was him and Valerie.
What did you think when he told you that?
At first, I thought he was joking. Yeah, for me, it was a joke.
And you said that you were in New York when that conversation happened.
Yeah.
Did the three of you return to Virginia after that trip?
Yes, we did.
And did he talk about this plan again after you returned?
Yeah.
And
how is that not a red flag for you? Oh my goodness. I know, Kurt. I don't understand that. I never understand how people think murder is easier than divorce. I have no fucking idea, dude.
Did he give you more information or more detail about what he intended to have happen?
Yeah, he said he wasn't going to hire anybody because that is something that throughout investigation can be discovered easily. Sure. And that he had heard of a website called FetLife. He's never done anything on the website, but he heard.
How did he know about FetLife? I'm just curious. Like, how did he know about FetLife?
Heard about it, and that's what he was going to do.
And did he tell you anything more about the plan at this point?
At that point, not really. People were still thinking about it.
And at the end of October of 2022, did you visit a shooting range?
Yes.
And did anyone come with you?
Brendan.
The first time that you went to the shooting range, do you recall signing any paperwork?
Yes.
Judge, at this point, I'm going to display a photograph. I would ask for the display to be to the witness and counsel only.
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to look at the screen in front of you. Do you have, is there a document on your screen?
Yeah.
Document for you slowly. Do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes.
And how?
Waiver you have to sign when you first go to the shooting range.
And did you sign this?
Yeah.
Is that your signature there on page 6?
Yes.
Judge, at this point, I'm going to ask.
So apparently Brendan takes her to the shooting range so she can learn how to shoot a gun. And she posted this on, she either posted it on social media or she sent it to her friends. I'm assuming maybe it was a social media post based on the graphic here. Oh boy.
To admit this as Commonwealth 56 and allow for it to be published to the jury.
Any objection? All right, 56 in evidence and published.
And I'm going to just bring it back up to the top so that the jury can see it.
Oh no, what is Pet Life? Would that be the furry version?
Do you recall the date on the form?
Yeah, October 29, 2022.
And on that date, do you recall shooting a firearm?
Yes,
Do you remember if it was a handgun or a long gun?
it was a handgun.
And was the defendant with you while you were firing the handgun on that day?
Yes,
Did you ever go back to the firing range again?
eventually we did.
Do you remember when you went back to the firing range?
I'd say back in December.
And did you practice firing a firearm on that December visit?
Oh, I didn't know they went twice. That actually went over my head.
Yes,
And again, what kind of firearm? Do you recall if it was a handgun or a long gun?
it's a handgun.
And was anyone with you when you returned to the firing range in December?
It's Brendan.
Judge, at this point, I'm going to ask for the view of Commonwealth 56 to be terminated to the gallery. Do you see a photograph on your screen? Photograph?
Yes,
How do you recognize it?
it's me at the shooting range.
And do you know who took this picture?
Brendan.
Judge, at this point, I am going to ask to have this admitted as Commonwealth 57.
All right, any objection to 57? All right, 57 evidence and published.
I need to use it if something goes wrong.
And what would go wrong? What was he concerned about going wrong? Had he told you more of his plan at this point?
At that point specifically, I can't really recall.
There's a furry version? I don't know, but if there was, Pet Life sounds appropriate. The dating app for open-minded individuals. I love it. Oh, are you guys checking it out right now? Nice.
But he told you that he wanted you at the firing range because you needed, in case something went wrong.
Yes,
Is that right?
Stay safe, okay?
yes.
After the December visit to the shooting range, what, if any, additional steps did the defendant take to move his plan forward?
It was in January when he created the account on the website.
Okay. So were you present when he created the FetLife account?
Yes.
And did he use his own email address to create the account?
No, he did not.
What email address did he use?
He created a new email account for Christine and Christine's name.
And were you there when he created that email address?
Yeah, yeah.
And do you
Oof. Yikes. Yikes. Not looking good for the jury. But again, maybe the jury's looking at her and they're like, you know what? I don't trust this little one. I don't trust her.
recall what device he used to create the email address?
To her laptop,
And when you say her laptop, whose laptop are you talking about?
Christine's laptop.
And do you recall what device he used to create the FetLife account?
Also laptop,
And when you say the laptop, are you talking about Christine's laptop?
yes.
And do you recall the name of the profile that the defendant created for the FetLife account?
Anastasia Knight,
And was there a photograph added to that profile?
yes.
Who is the photograph of?
It's Christine's body in a bathing suit.
And
Dude, that's just like so sick. Can you imagine that? Like, if this is true, your husband makes a fake account of you and then posts a picture of you in a bathing suit on there? Ugh.
who added the photograph to the profile?
Brendan did.
And who typed the words for the profile?
I hear that.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Brendan did.
Okay. If I could have the view terminated to the gallery at this point. I'm going to show you a series of screenshots, N65. Do you recognize these photos, these screenshots?
Yes.
How do you recognize them?
It was the FetLife account.
So we don't have access to these photos. They are under seal. Although I think after the trial is over, they'll probably choose which exhibits they're going to unseal, and maybe these will be a part of those.
Is this the FetLife profile that was posted?
Yes.
And is this the group within FetLife that you use to communicate with other users?
Yes.
Can you describe for us what it is?
It's a post made on the profile.
And what website was this posted on?
FetLife.
Probably happens. Yes. Wait, probably happens often. A streamer once mentioned someone made a fake Tinder account of her. Yes, I've heard of that before. I think I'm trying to remember the exact story, but I could have sworn I heard about it was either a streamer or a celebrity. They were on a dating app and then they got matched with like themselves or something, and then they tried to report the profile and they couldn't. Or no, sorry. I think that's a separate story. But I remember hearing a story about celebrity or streamer was on a dating app. And, you know, because like they were trying to like find people to meet and stuff like that, but they were unable to do so because their account kept getting reported because they assumed that she was faking her account, that it wasn't actually her who was behind the account. Oh, gosh. Anyways.
And what was the reason for posting it?
It was what the account was first created, I guess, and to tell people what she was looking for.
And whose idea was it to post this? Whose idea was it to post this?
Alice says he had to have it in his mind prior to meeting her. 2 months to murder is a huge leap. It is a huge leap. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he always was planning on getting rid of his wife and she was just a catalyst or an excuse. I don't know. Hi, Christine. How are you doing today? Happy Monday. By the way, who's in the US right now and having like the crazy winter snowstorm? It's pretty wild out in the East Coast and I think the Midwest right now, like especially if you're in Chicago area. But any snowstorms out there? 750 what now? Brad Pitt catfish lady gave away 750K. Oh my god, that's so sad. I think people were doing the same thing with Johnny Depp too. They were pretending to, they're using like AI to pretend to be Johnny Depp, basically like asking people for money on the internet. Yeah. It's really sad. Pretty crafty, you know, all these scams nowadays. Be careful, guys. Be careful. Is that a thing? We had a nanny when we were kids. I would never would think to be sure they could shoot a gun. I mean, maybe depends on where you live.
Okay. We can terminate this view at this point.
Would it be common though? Would it be something that's, you know, necessary in your resume? Probably not, you know. Probably something that's more important would be like, oh, do you know how to give CPR to a child that's choking? Hey, Jillian, how are you doing today? How's it going? Hello, Siobhan. Cold on the West Coast a little, and we're not even in the worst of the storm. Oh, man. Wait, on the West Coast? Oh, like in like Washington area, maybe? Oh, by the way, guys, reminder, if you guys are new, feel free to join the Discord. The notifications on there are going to be the most reliable, in my opinion. But yeah, have your notifications on so you guys know when I go live and when videos are posted. Also, I am going to, let me get up and stretch and use the restroom really quick because I need to use the bathroom. Ain't trying to get no UTIs. Oh no, my hair's caught. All right, guys, get up, stretch. We'll be back in like 90 seconds. All right. Oh, you're in Maine? You got a foot of snow? Man, I've always wanted to go visit Maine. Looks beautiful. Are there still like plenty of lobsters in Maine? I remember that's what Maine was known for. Michigan. Michigan's also very cold. Our temps have been crazy here. Single digits at night. Oh no, high teens during the day. The snow will stay for a while. Yeah, you guys are probably getting like, it's probably like freezing. Nanny resume skills. Expert at shooting guns, archery, and slingshot. Hey, Opossum, how are you doing today? How's it going? Just happy to see the plow trucks in my subdivision for once. Yes, lots of lobster. Oh, that sounds so delicious. Yeah, I want to go to Maine. I haven't been there yet. All right, let's get back to Juliana's testimony. So she's going to get into, I think we're in the part right now where they are creating the FetLife account for the victim to make it seem like she was the one that created this account, and also to make it seem like she was the one that solicited this consensual sex with a stranger coming in and essentially assaulting her.
How did you and Brendan, how did you use the laptop? How did the two of you use her laptop without her knowing about it?
It was because every time she used to get home from work, she threw her backpack by the door, and in the backpack was her laptop and her work stuff.
I mean, anyone that works in healthcare, I have friends that work in healthcare. By the time you get off work, you're in your scrubs, they're dirty, you're tired, you're drained. You might have had a tough day. And I could see that when you get home, yeah, maybe you just throw your backpack by the door and you're just like, fuck it. Go upstairs, take a shower, head to sleep or something like that. I also don't know if Christine was working like 12-hour shifts or not. Maybe she was working 12-hour shifts, or maybe, she got lucky and as an ICU nurse, I doubt it, but maybe she was able to get like an 8-hour shift maybe.
And once the FetLife account was created, what, if anything, did the two of you do with it?
Other people, other guys, they would also text looking for whatever it is that they're interested in.
Okay. And had Brendan explained to you at this point in time, or was there any explanation given to you about what it was that he was using FetLife for, or what it was he was looking for from another FetLife user?
Yeah.
What was that?
The website is for BDSM, people that like that kind of stuff, and he said we would be able to find somebody that plays like aggressive or that likes playing with blood and that kind of stuff.
So they're shopping around on FetLife, trying to find someone who will be willing to come into the house, with a knife, with some bindings, and engage in this act with Christine, even though they've never met before or FaceTime before. I think they have talked on the phone, but still, man, you gotta match the face to the profile. Like there's so many checks that you have to do just in case. Like it's just really risky.
With me.
And were the two of you typically together while you were using FetLife to message other people?
Yes.
And was Christine home or not home when the two of you used FetLife?
She was home.
Always?
Yes.
Why?
Because he always mentioned for us to make sure to log in on that account when she was also home. So it would have, throughout.
And pay attention to this part right here. Pay attention.
The investigation, it have been very clear that like whenever she was using the profile, she was home, and yeah.
And you said because during the investigation. Why would there be an investigation?
Well, he always thought like in advance. He knew how the investigation would go. Like he always knew, and yeah.
Why would there be investigation at this point? Nothing has happened.
But why did he know?
What did he know?
Yeah, why? You said because he always knew about the investigation. What did he know about an investigation? There hasn't been one yet.
He knew eventually we would have one investigation.
Why?
Because there would be a murder,
Yikes.
and it's just what happens.
So he knew there would be an investigation because he knew a murder would happen, although it would be 2 murders here.
Well, he knew that we needed to have some alibis.
Now, remember, before Brendan went back home to confront Christine's assailant, he was at a McDonald's. And this is where she's going to talk about Brendan made sure that his routine would at some point be normalized to the point that him going to McDonald's was something that he did every day, okay, pretty often. It wasn't just something done on this particular day, because it was only on this particular day that maybe that's a little too suspicious. So he would change his routine weeks prior.
He knew that he needed to change his routine 2 weeks prior, so it wouldn't be odd that he wasn't, just at McDonald's on that day specifically.
Okay. I'm going to show you a couple of items one at a time. The parties have
All the premeditation that's going into this. Making sure that you typically go to McDonald's. Making sure that anytime the FetLife account was used, Christine was home. Just in case, if digital forensics were to look at this and they were like, oh, actually, Christine wasn't home on this day, so how was she operating his cell phone or the laptop? Oh, man.
Sorry. Did either of you post on FetLife or message anyone on FetLife while the two of you were in Winchester?
No,
And why is that?
because we would only post when we were home and she was home at the same time.
Okay. And were there any other things that the two of you did to make it look like Christine was the one messaging in FetLife? You want me to ask that a different?
Okay, but why the hell then set up the meeting on his birthday while her family is just gone for like an hour? It wouldn't be gone for an hour because I'm assuming maybe they went to like Woodley Park Zoo, maybe in DC. I don't know if there's any other zoo that's near Fairfax, Virginia. But that if you're going from Fairfax to Woodley Park Zoo and then you're like hanging out at the zoo all day, that's probably like it's gonna take a few hours. But for Brendan, I could see him setting up on his birthday as like a happy birthday to me. My wife is murdered and I've got this 22-year-old Brazilian who is now my new girlfriend. Kind of strange, kind of deranged too. Or it could be like, oh, hey, for my birthday, I want to go to the zoo with... Actually, no, where was he supposed to be on his birthday? Because the zoo outing wasn't even with Brendan and the nanny and the child. I don't know. I don't know why they chose the birthday. But apparently she didn't have the day off and he convinced Christine to take the day off just so he can allegedly murder her.
Different way.
Yes, please.
Did the two of you ever message people or post on FetLife when Christine was home and only one of you was home?
Yes.
And whose idea was that?
Brendan?
And did he say why?
Yes.
And why was that?
Because, again, when he talked about the investigation we would have at some point.
So this is where they are messaging a bunch of different users, and she's going to explain as to why these other profiles or these other users were not chosen.
Between this user ID and then the Anastasia profile. This user ID says, I wish I could get you to come meet me at my hotel in Richmond next Wednesday night. And then the Anastasia profile says, thank you, Richmond is too far for me. I'm looking to chat a bit before meeting someone.
Yeah, I think Fairfax to Richmond, isn't that like about like an hour and a half or 2 hours or something like that?
So why would it be
it's pretty
that
far.
you guys wouldn't have pursued this user?
Because all along, his plan was for the person to come in the house.
So Richmond would have been too far of a drive for the person to come into the house that morning.
Yeah.
And when we're looking again at the Anastasia profile, is it you and or Brendan who is operating the Anastasia profile?
Yes.
8690?
Yes.
Right, okay. So this person is looking for someone to meet up with at restaurants and coffee shops and just talking and getting to know one another. They'd like to go to an event eventually, and they say they're pretty new to Fet World, but willing to learn. And then the Anastasia profile says, I'm not looking to go out on dates, sorry. Why is it that the two of you wouldn't have pursued, why would Brendan have not pursued this person to further converse with?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So this person is asking to meet out in public.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that Brendan was interested in having the Anastasia profile do?
Nope.
Why not?
Because again, he needs somebody that would agree to come to the house. Yeah, so to do the things that he needed the person to do.
So they're going through all the different people that were rejected because these people were a little more careful. These people were like, hey, let's meet out in a public setting first, and to make sure that, one, you are who you are and this is what you really want. There was another person that says that like, hey, I don't know if we should be doing like all this crazy shit on the first day. We should like slowly work our way with it, work our way up to it to make sure that we're both comfortable. But they're like, no, we don't want this person. So they basically just want someone that just someone who's going to exactly follow their plan. Because if they don't follow that plan, the plan is going to fall apart. It's not going to work. They need to have someone who's going to show up at the house, no phone, with a knife and whatever it is, to really make it seem like Christine was being attacked, or she did set up this meeting and something had gone wrong. I'm going to forward a little bit to the part where let's see. So this person, oh, here's one user, for example. This is what they said.
This user responds to the Anastasia profile, and this user says, so I'm a vet. We need to work up to restraints. I don't recommend them until the second or third time, once trust is there.
Yes. You need to make sure there's an established trust there.
And then in 573, this user says, if you're for real, let's grab a drink or coffee in public to see if there's attraction, no expectations. I work out in Fairfax County on Tuesdays if you're around. And then Anastasia responds in.
So once they were able to pick the person that was going to do this was Joe. They took the conversation over to what's it called again? Telegram? Telegram.
Yes,
And what form of communication was that?
it was a Telegram.
And were you present when the Telegram account was created?
Yes,
Who created the Telegram account?
Brendan.
And how did he do that?
He used her laptop on its anonymous page, and he had her cell phone with him at the time because he needed to receive a code on her cell phone so she could create the account on Telegram
And how did you and the defendant communicate with Joe Ryan on Telegram?
by texting.
Did you use any other form of communication on Telegram with him?
Phone call, phone call.
And who was it that spoke on the phone with Joe Ryan when you had that?
So they used Christine's laptop and her cell phone to create this, I guess, Telegram account. And it was probably like one of those things where it's like, oh, we need to verify it with your cell phone. So he had her cell phone. They were to get the code. That way it shows that Christine's cell phone was the one that was used to create this account. And they are going to speak on the phone with this Joe person. However, Joe doesn't know what Christine's real voice sounds like. So is it weird to have her on the phone pretending to be Christine? No.
Phone call. When you spoke on the phone, did Joe comment on your accent?
Yes.
What did he say?
That was the first thing he said. As soon as I said hi, he was surprised that I had an accent. And he asked, oh, you have an accent? I didn't know. And I told him, yes.
Now I'm going to show you Commonwealth 73, and I would ask for this to be displayed to counsel and witness only.
So we don't have screenshots of the communications, but basically it's, well, actually, I think we have like we have one screenshot, but the communication didn't really have anything.
Page 2.
Oh, wait, this is what we saw? I don't know if I saw this one.
Joe sends a message on February 20th that says, I'm looking forward to Friday. Who chose February 24th, 2023 as the date?
Brendan.
And did he say why he chose that date?
He did say why, but right now I can't recall.
Oh, I want to know why. Why did he choose that date? She says she said that he did say why, but she doesn't remember.
I'm going to scroll forward to page 28, which I apologize for the scrolling. Do you see it in front of you?
Yes,
Did Brendan see that photograph?
he did.
And did he make any comments on that photograph?
So Joe sends a picture of what he's going to bring to Christine's, and there's a knife there. So I'll move the caption. There's a knife right there. There's like chains, there's locks, and I think these are like stretchy bands from the gym, but you could probably use it to bind.
Yeah,
What did he say?
that was not the knife he was expecting the person to bring. When he asked about the knife, he was expecting a pointy knife. That would be easier.
All right. Then I'm going to move down to page 40.
Yes.
Okay. And the Anastasia profile says, oh, I forgot to tell you, I do have a dog. She's very nice, but she will be in the basement. Who sent that message?
Brendan?
I am going to terminate this view here. If I could ask for it to be terminated to the gallery.
Now, before this date, Brendan is going to say that apparently she says that Brendan is going to have her and Brendan trade their phones in. That way, I guess like just in case if the investigators were to get a hold of their phones, there wouldn't be any like old data on there to potentially, I don't know, use against them.
Yes.
And why did you do that? Why was it necessary to get a new phone?
Because he told me to get rid of my other phone where it had pictures and other stuff, and Because even if I reset my phone,
Did Brendan not follow her on Instagram? Did he not know that she was posting that shit on social media?
able to be able to see the things I had before.
And
I wish the state had found a witness to testify that he'd been in chats to perform this bizarre scenario and turn them down. Oh, you mean like the people that were chatting with Christine's fake profile?
what about your Apple
I mean, they probably don't want to testify, honestly, or be involved in this case at all.
ID? Did you keep the same Apple ID?
No,
Why did you change Apple IDs?
because they also said that you'll be able to see through my Apple ID the things I had on my phone before.
And did Brendan get a new phone as well?
He did.
Do you know, did it happen at the same time or at a different time than you?
A different time.
And was there anything, were there any changes to the home?
Yes.
And can you talk about that?
They changed all the windows in the house, and Brenda's description of the window was more soundproof. That's how I would say it. I'm not sure if that's how you call it, but that was the description.
Okay. And what, if anything, did he have you do with regard to that?
After they changed all the windows in the house, he told me for us to test, and he had told me to go up to the master bedroom, and he would be outside in the driveway, and he told me for me to scream from the master bedroom to see if he could hear anything from the driveway, but I didn't do it.
Okay. Did you do anything different instead?
Instead, he told me so I could go out in the driveway, and he would go up to the master bedroom, and he would be the one screaming, and I'd just tell him whether or not I heard anything, and also from the backyard, because the house had trail and neighbors, and he will make sure people didn't hear from there.
So again, they got triple pane windows before the murders happened. And she's testifying that we did some tests to see that if someone was screaming inside the house, would the neighbors outside be able to hear? A lot of planning.
And did you do that?
I was out to see if I could hear him, yes.
And could you?
Barely.
And then where did you usually park your car?
My car I would park normally in the driveway. Other times I'd park by the mailbox in the cul-de-sac.
And did you park it somewhere else in preparation for February 24th, 2023?
Yeah, the night before I parked in the cul-de-sac.
Why did you do that?
Brandon told me to do so because maybe Joe would come around to see what he was getting himself into, or maybe in the morning, and then he would see a different car, and it would scare him away, and yeah.
And then, so those are all things that you did. Did the defendant do anything else in preparation for that day?
Yeah, he went around in the neighborhood, checking for ring cameras, doorbell.
So they were scoping out the neighborhood to see who would have security cameras, ring cameras. They noticed which neighbors didn't have it. Oh, man. Now, they're going to talk about how Christine had the day off that day.
Sorry, how did the defendant know that Christine would be at home that morning?
Yeah, she was scheduled to work that Friday morning, and he had told me that he would talk to her out of it, to like change. And so instead of going to work on that morning, she would be off and she would be at home. And
yep, she was supposed to be off. No, she was supposed to work that morning, but he convinced her to take off, and she did.
And what was the plan for you and Valerie to be out of the house?
he had said about telling her that Valerie and I would go to the zoo, spend all day at the zoo, and we would be leaving the house early. And so, yeah, that was the plan for me and Valerie.
When did you tell her about the plan?
I told her it was a few days prior to, but I told her in person because he didn't want any messages where I would be asking, telling her about it. So the conversation I had with her was in person a few days prior.
And you said the conversation was in person, and why? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. Oh, you couldn't hear?
Yeah. Why was the conversation in person?
So you didn't be me requesting, telling her that we're going, asking to go, and yeah, so he wanted things in person.
And who wanted things in person?
Brendan.
Okay. Was there really no Paris trip planned for the zoo that morning?
There was not.
When you woke up on the morning of the 24th, what happened first?
I woke up early. I think I had an alarm on my phone. And
I wonder if Christine had like a birthday present ready for Brendan. I don't know. I just doesn't matter, but just curious. You know, I don't know. Just it makes it even more sad.
went downstairs to the kitchen.
Do you recall what time you got up?
I would say 6 something.
Did you wake up Valerie that morning?
No, Brendan did.
And who brought Valerie to you that morning?
Brendan.
Did he say anything to you when he left Valerie with you?
She said Christine was asleep.
And what did you do next?
Next, I start getting her ready downstairs. And yeah, for now, I was just getting her ready, like in the living room downstairs.
So she's getting ready. They go on Telegram. They contact Joe, giving instructions of where to park in the driveway. This is where Brendan is going to unlock the house door and then make it so it doesn't auto lock, I believe.
I'm just going to move on. I can't find the page at this moment. How is Joe supposed to get into the house?
I told him during the phone call that the door would be unlocked.
Okay. And who unlocked the front door?
Brendan did, using Christine's cell phone.
And
oh, so he uses Christine's cell phone to unlock the front door. I actually missed that. Not his phone.
what did Brendan do with the phone, if anything, after he made sure that the door would stay unlocked?
He deactivated the door lock on her phone, and he turned it off and hid the phone in the drawer in the bar area we have, like in the kitchen.
So takes her phone, hides it in the drawer in the kitchen. Let's see, where else can we jump around to? They both had handguns when they were leaving the house. She had one, he had one. Brendan left the house first while the au pair was in, she was parked in the cul-de-sac getting Valerie ready, the daughter ready, and then setting up the iPad. But Brendan was going to be at the McDonald's at this point. Now, Joe is supposed to be pulling up, and it says Joe pulls up. She's supposed to give Christine a call and say, like, oh, like, who is this? But Christine doesn't pick up. It goes a voice message. So then she's supposed to call Brendan and say, oh, my God, there's a stranger that just walked into your house.
I called Brendan, and then he picked up the phone, and I was telling him just the way he had said, and like, there's somebody strange come to the house, I'm scared. And he told me for me to stay there, he would be coming home, and that he would try to also call Christine.
So he tries to call Christine. She doesn't answer, of course. Now, when Brendan arrives at the scene, the three of them, yes, they take the 4-year-old daughter too. The three of them decide to go through the back of the house through the basement instead of just going through the front door, and instead of leaving the daughter in the car with the nanny.
I got Valerie out of the car too. Then we went following him to the back of the house, to the door that leads us into the basement.
Okay. And whose idea was it to go into the basement?
Brendan.
And whose idea was it for all of you to go into the basement?
Brendan.
And did all three of you go into the basement together?
Yeah.
And when you accessed the basement, did you go in through the front door of the house? Did you go in through the back door of the house? How did you get in?
The three of us got into the house through the basement door, which was in the back of the house.
And
after Christine was murdered, apparently she was, of course, still living in the house, and she moved into the primary bedroom where Brendan was sleeping. Brendan's mom moved in, and his grandmother also moved in to the house. I wonder if they thought it was weird that he was having this relationship with the au pair.
when the three of you went into the basement, did anyone lock the door to the outside that you had just come in after you went inside?
No. After when I started, I did not recall locking the door or doing anything to the door.
Do you recall if their dog was in the basement when you went inside?
I saw her in a flash. And also because I knew she was going to be there in the basement. But what happened with her after that, I don't know.
Okay. Did she go upstairs with you?
What is it?
So is Valerie still with you at this point in time while you're in the basement?
Yes.
Okay. And so what did you do with Valerie?
Brenda had told us to stay there in the basement. And again, I knew we were supposed to stay there, she and I. And he went upstairs to the main floor.
I don't know, man, but apparently the grandma, Brendan, they were paying for her attorney's fees when she was arrested, and she was communicating with Brendan's mom. That communication ended, though, when she took the plea deal, which makes sense.
Okay. And what if anything did you do?
I just stayed with her, and after a couple minutes passed by, and I had told her for you to like stay here, and then I also went upstairs to the main floor.
Okay. And when you say it was a part of his plan, whose plan?
Brenda's.
Okay. So you left Valerie in the basement, and you said you went upstairs?
When I got to the main floor, Brenda was standing at the bottom of the stairs that lead us upstairs. And he was just listening. Then he gestured to me like for me to wait, just listen to the sound.
So crazy. How could you not have any like no emotion whatsoever, no regrets to hearing your wife scream and getting attacked in a bedroom?
And the sound was like slapping. That's when you're slapping somebody. That's the sound we could hear.
And what, if anything, happened after that?
I think we were listening to that sound for a few seconds, and he took his gun out. And because I also had the gun with me, I just...
So they both are going up the stairs. They both had their guns out. They're about to approach the room where Christine was getting attacked.
Did the same, and he proceeded to go upstairs, and I just followed him upstairs to the master bedroom.
Who opened the bedroom door?
Brendan?
Did you go inside the bedroom?
Yes.
And what did you see when you went inside the bedroom?
When we first get into the bedroom, I could see that the bed we have in the master bedroom was kind of tall. And so from my point of view, all I could see was like Joe at the moment, and it was Joe like on top of Christine in a way out on this pipe holding her down. And that was my first view as soon as I get into the bedroom.
Were you able to see Christine at all at that point?
At that point, no.
Did anyone say anything when the two of you went into the bedroom?
Yeah, when I got to the bedroom, Brendan said, he yelled, "Police officer."
Why would he yell police officer? Oh man. And then she's gonna talk about Christine's reaction and then how everything went down. And like I just feel so bad for Joe too, because Joe's like he got pulled into this thing, you know? Like, yes, he was probably a little bit, what's the word that I was looking for? Naive in this whole situation. Maybe this is his first time being involved in this like FetLife account. Maybe he's like a newbie into all of this, doesn't really know like, you know, the rules that you should follow, the red flags you should look out for. But I don't know, it's just like so sad.
And Christine's first reaction, that was the first time I heard she say anything at that point. Then she yelled back at Brendan saying, "Brendan, he has a knife." And yeah, that's when Brendan first shot Joe.
Did you see Joe before he was shot?
Yeah.
What did he look like when he saw Brendan?
Shocked.
After Brendan shot Joe, did anyone say anything?
If anyone said anything?
Yeah, did anyone say anything in the room at that point?
Yeah, because Brendan ran to Christine. She was still on the floor, and I think that point she had seen me, and she had asked her what to do to Brendan. I think regarding to that he shot Joe, and she said my name. She told me to call 911.
And what did you do?
I called 911.
So Christine was being attacked by this man she doesn't know. They shoot Joe, and her reaction is like, "Brendan, what did you do? Call 911. Someone call 911." Like, even though she was being attacked, it seems like she still had some sort of like, she's so worried about her attacker in a way. Like, oh my God, you just shot him. Like, shit, we got to call 911.
And what happened after you called 911?
At that point, Joe was already shot, so that's the sound in the background. And Brennan looks at me and just, in a way, for me, like to hang up the call.
So this is the first accidental 911 call. She had prematurely called 911 because she was listening to Christine. Christine had told her to call 911 and she did it. But the plan was they were supposed to already, I guess, go after Christine and then call 911. That didn't happen yet.
Did he tell you, did he say, Juliana, hang up the call?
No, he did not.
How did he communicate to you?
A gesture?
And what gesture did he make?
This.
And so what did you do after he made that gesture?
I hung up the phone, the phone call.
Just evil.
What, if anything, happened next?
Next, he was stood up for Christine. Joe was laying there.
So now he's going to go and attack his wife.
And for me to grab a towel from the master bathroom. We have the closet. And I just ran to the master bathroom and grabbed him a towel and to bring it to him.
Isn't it crazy how she just like grazes over him on top of his wife, stabbing her? She's just like, oh yeah, he was on top of her. And then I went to go grab a towel. It's like, okay.
And at this point in time, could you see Christine?
Yes.
What did you see Brendan do next?
When I was bringing him the towel, he got on top of her, and that's when I first saw him stab her with a knife.
Where on her body was he stabbing her?
Her neck.
And were you able to see whether or not he stabbed her one time or more than one time?
It's very violent. It's very gruesome. The fact that she was able to continue a relation with this man for 8 months after this, just so sickening. I don't know. I wonder if Brennan's going to say that. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we did do the catfishing thing. Yeah, I was seduced by this succubus who convinced me to, engage in this act with, getting my wife murdered. But I changed my mind. I wasn't going to do anything. She was the one that attacked Christine, not me. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he'll flip the script on her. Because I at this point, I'm not really quite sure what he can combat. I mean, I think the defense was trying to combat saying that, it was Christine that made these accounts, that Christine was the one who messaged Joe for him to come over that day. But I wonder if they'll just completely just do a 180 and just say that, like, actually, she was the one who was mastermind of this. She was the one who convinced me to make the account. And then on the day of, she was the one that stabbed Christine, shot Joe.
First saw that happening, I ran to the other side of the bed, and I was just crouching down on myself and covering my ears and covering my eyes. And a few times I looked, and I was able to see him stabbing her, and he would stab, and other times he would hold the knife in a position how that was.
You said he was holding the knife in a position?
Yeah.
How was he holding it?
We have the time. What's it called? Was it this one? Oh, no. You have to click the eye thing to see what time. The timestamp. I think we have the timestamp somewhere, though.
In this position, I think when the way he stabbed, he was just kind of like holding it.
Is he looking directly at the camera? Or is the camera behind her? The camera is probably positioned where the jury is, and he's probably maybe looking at the jury to see the reaction, I think.
Putting pressure on it.
And was he just holding onto the knife at that point, or was he still stabbing her?
He was holding the knife.
Did you stab Christine at all?
I did not.
Did you touch Christine at all at this point?
No,
Did you get any blood on you?
I did.
And how did you get blood on you?
The blood on my hands, I remember. Because at some point when he was stabbing her, I was kneeling, like.
I wonder if Christine had suspicions that her husband was having an affair with the au pair, or she had no clue, no idea. I wonder if during her last moments of life, if she looked at the two of them, was like, oh shit, like something's happening over here. Like something's between the two of them. Or was she just like confused, dazed, and just really lost? So sad.
She was here, and Brenda was like stabbing her, and I came closer, and it was right here, and I knelt on the carpet, and I had put my hands on the carpet, and as soon as I felt blood, I just removed my hands from the carpet.
Why? What did the blood feel like?
It was warm.
Did you get blood on any other part of you?
Yeah. It was on my shoes, but also on my socks.
How did you get blood on your shoes?
I was walking around, I would say, freaking out, and I was pacing back and forth, and it was pacing and staying in place, covering my eyes and ears, and I didn't want to hear their conversation, and so I don't truly know like how I got blood on my socks.
When did you take off your shoes?
When Brendan had told me 21, 28, he was.
So 21, 28 is a combination of the safe. He's going to have her go there to open the safe. And I guess this is the part where, because she already had the handgun on her. I think they were trying to orchestrate that she went to the safe to grab the handgun. And that's what she used to shoot Joe, the other victim. Yeah, and they're like, why did you go to the safe? It was part of the plan. She was like, for reasons I can't make sense of them now, but given that I had the gun with me that morning. But I think that was supposed to be the plan, to make it pretend that she went to the safe to grab the gun, even though she already had the gun on her. They take pictures of her socks, her shoes. We can't see any of these images. Now, Joe was not dead at this point. Joe was still alive, I believe, and Joe was starting to move.
What did you do next? After 21, 28, you went to the safe, came back. What did you do at that point?
At that point, that's when I stand in front of the dresser and the TV, and I'm telling Brendan that Joe is moving. He was moving, and Brendan, he doesn't have any reaction to that whatsoever.
Poor Joe.
And I just start telling him he's moving, he's behind you, and that's when I fired the shot too.
That's when could you say that again?
I fired.
And when you say you fired what?
A gun.
So Joe's moving, but I'm assuming maybe he was on the floor. I don't know if they had someone who testified about the projectiles, whether or not it seemed like it was from someone who was like standing up above someone and shot down at Joe. Or apparently there was a lot of people that were part of this trial that didn't testify because of the inner turmoil in the homicide unit or something like that.
The gun that was where?
In my that I had in my pocket, the handgun.
Did you hit anyone?
Yes.
Who'd you hit?
Joe.
What happened after you shot Joe?
After I shot him, he falls back.
Did you see Brendan touch Joe's body after you shot him?
Touching, no.
Did you see him interacting with Joe or Christine after you shot Joe?
Well, he was still stabbed in Christine, and he he got her blood in a handful of blood, and he starts dripping on Joe's body.
Did you ever call 911 again?
Yes,
Why did you call 911 again?
I called 911 again when he told me Brendan told me he was ready for me to call.
That he was ready. So now that we finally got everything set up, that Christine's been stabbed in the neck since the last time the first 911 call was made, and Joe's been shot, now we can call 911.
And when you made that call,
I think it's fair to assume that Christine put 2 and 2 together when Juliana did nothing, possibly.
do you recall what you said?
I think I do not remember everything he said. I remember saying that I guess a friend of mine was being stabbed and somebody was shot, and I couldn't talk the rest of the call. So Brendan took the lead, and he was the one talking to the responder on the phone call.
Did the police arrive that day after you called 911?
They did.
What did you do when the police arrived?
The person on the phone, the 911, she told me to not hang up on the phone and go make sure the door.
So this is where the police arrived. She was like already on the phone with 911, the dispatcher. They take them to like headquarters. They take pictures. She talks to the detective, and she gives a version that Brendan told her to tell the detectives that day, which was, you know, she was supposed to go to a zoo outing with her and the 4-year-old daughter. Brendan was at McDonald's nearby getting breakfast. Christine was sleeping in the house. That when she was preparing to leave the house with the 4-year-old daughter, she saw a strange man walk into the house, didn't know who he was. She called Christine, but went to voice message because Christine was sleeping. She didn't answer the phone. She calls Brendan. Brendan tries calling Christine, but then it also goes to voice message. So Brendan comes back, and the 3 of them with the 4-year-old daughter, 3 of them, including the 4-year-old daughter, walk into the house, but not through the front door of the house. They go through the basement. They go through the basement. They bring the daughter there. They leave the daughter in the basement after the nanny leaves her in the basement. And they all go, the 2 of them go upstairs with the handguns, and they saw what was happening to Christine, that Christine apparently was getting stabbed by Joe. You know, somehow if Christine had used this FetLife account to get Joe to come in, and Joe agreed, for some reason, Joe just decided to just go on a murderous rampage and just start stabbing Christine for some reason. And because of that, the 2 of them with the handguns shot. Well, actually, no. She shot Joe. That's the story. I don't think the story was ever that Brendan shot Joe. No, Brendan was the one who stabbed Christine per the state, but Brendan's story was that Christine was getting stabbed by Joe, and she was the one who fired the shot. Now, isn't it kind of odd, though, that Brendan still weaseled his way out, because he wasn't the one that fired the shot at Joe. He was the one that made her fire the shot at Joe. That way, she would still have some culpability in all of this and be involved. Interesting. I guess the story that Brendan was trying to craft was, we went upstairs, Joe was attacking Christine, I was trying to stop Joe, and I ordered the nanny to run to the safe and get the gun. So that's probably why the whole safe plan had to happen. Interesting. Anyway, so that's the end of the direct examination, or I think they just end it there, but I think they come back again the next day. Let me see if, let's see, day 2. Did she come back and testify on day 2? I know there was cross-examination. State's witness.
Good morning.
Good morning.
When we ended yesterday, I had asked you if you had told the police that you spoke to on the day that this happened what you told us yesterday.
All right, we're going to be jumping around here just a little bit, because I don't think day 2, do we really have much information? Let's see. I basically just wanted to hear the plan that the 2 of them had hatched together. I think that's what they start talking about. Her getting arrested. She pled for manslaughter. Manslaughter, by the way, max 10 years. So 10 years. However, she's hoping to get less than 10 years. Let's bring up the part where she talks about who pays for her attorneys. Attorney. So she's looking at 10 years max. I think they go through her messages. So she's in communications with Brendan. She's in communications with Brendan's mom. And she was relying on Brendan and Brendan's mom for money for, to put into the commissary and to pay for her communications with her mom back in Brazil. I think there's like another. Oh, here it is.
Do you know who paid for your attorneys?
Who, what? I'm sorry.
Who paid for your attorneys?
Brenna's mother.
And
his mom paid for the attorneys. Not even him. Did he not have money or something like that? I thought he didn't want to divorce Christine because of money stuff. I thought maybe he didn't want Christine to take all his money or whatever.
So you were arrested in October of 2023.
Yeesh.
And you entered your guilty plea in October 2024. Why did you wait a year?
I'm sorry.
Why did you wait a year?
I had things I was concerned about, such as I was afraid of not being able to be represented if they stopped the payment. I was afraid of not having any way of communication with my family, my mom in Brazil, because I depended on Brenda's mother to do that for me.
Yep, so she relied on Brendan and his mother for her to be able to communicate with her family back in Brazil. And if she decides to flip on Brendan, then she was scared at the time. Because then she would have no money. She wouldn't have someone paying for attorneys to represent her. Oh, boy.
So you said that you were concerned that you wouldn't have representation anymore. What do you mean by that?
Because once the payment stopped, I thought I wouldn't have Ryan as my lawyer and it would be just dropped out.
And did that happen, or did Ryan continue to represent you?
He continued to represent me.
And you said you were concerned you wouldn't be able to communicate with your mom. What was your concern? Why was that a concern for you?
Oh, interesting. Someone mentioned the judge can give her 10 years consecutively for both deaths, potentially 20, but still late sentence. I mean, she's really young. She's 24 years old right now. So even if she gets that when she was 40s, she'll still, or 30s or 40s, she'll still have a lot to live. Christine was how old? 37 years old at the time that she was murdered. So she might be around Christine's age. Christine didn't get to live past 37, but she will. She might still have a full life ahead of her.
Because I only had Brendan's mother or him to help me communicate with my family in Brazil via phone call or messages. I depended on them financially to be able to texting my mom, and yeah.
So what ultimately made you decide that you were going to enter this plea?
Yeah, why did you decide to change your mind? Why did you decide to plead guilty?
Was the thought of being the right thing to do. I guess we all deserved to know what really happened, and I just couldn't hold it. I just couldn't get.
She says because it's the right thing to do. We all deserve to know what really happened. I just couldn't hold it in. I couldn't give it to myself. The feeling of shame, the guilt, the sadness, all those feelings. So she decides to plead guilty to manslaughter and to cooperate and testify against Brendan. And she also wants potentially less time.
I had the potential of getting less time.
Now, back to the time frame of after Christine was murdered up until when she was arrested. So about 8 months. Yeah, 8 months that she had this honeymoon stage to continue with Brendan. They continued their romantic relationship.
Between February 24th, 2023 and October of 2023, did you continue your romantic relationship with the defendant?
Yes.
And after February 24th, 2023, did you ever go back and live at the house on Stablebrook Way?
Yes.
Who lived at the house with you after you were able to go back to the house?
At that point, it was only me, Brendan, and Valerie.
And when you returned to the house, What bedroom did you stay in?
When I first returned, I stayed in my bedroom, my upper bedroom.
Did anyone stay in that bedroom with you?
Yes.
Who?
Brendan.
And did the two of you ever move into the master bedroom?
Eventually, yes.
Do you recall when?
I would say maybe,
Don't guess. Do you recall when?
no.
Okay. When you came to live in that house before February 24th, 2023, when you first arrived in October of 2021, who lived in the master bedroom at that time?
Christine and Brendan.
Yep, because they were a husband and wife.
And where did you live when you came in October 2021?
I had my own bedroom.
And where was that bedroom?
It's on the same floor as the master bedroom and Valerie's bedroom.
And did you hang anything up in that bedroom? Did you make it your own?
Yes.
What'd you put up?
A Brazilian flag, some pictures on the frame. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And did anyone else come to live with you in the house on Stablebrook Way after February 24th, 2023?
Well, Brenda's mother was mostly staying with us, and a few months.
So that was her room, by the way. I showed you guys earlier. Sorry, let me zoom in out. When she first stayed at the house, she had her own bedroom. She had a Brazilian flag.
After we moved his grandmother down from New York to live.
However, after Christine was killed, Brendan's mom was staying with them.
Way after February 24th, 2023?
Well, Brenda's mother was mostly staying with us, and a few months after we moved his grandmother down from New York to live with us.
And who was supporting you after February 24th, 2023?
Who was supporting me?
Yeah.
Brendan.
My heart hurts for the little girl. She's going to have a lot to deal with. Yeah. And for 8 months, she was living with the two killers.
When you were first arrested, were you able to speak to the defendant on the phone?
Yes.
And did you send letters to him?
Yes.
And did he send letters to you?
Yes.
Did the two of you continue your...
I wonder how long it took before she moved into the primary bedroom with Brendan, with his mom in the same house. Oosh.
Relationship?
Yes.
Were you able to speak to the defendant on the phone?
Yes.
And did you send letters to him?
Yes.
And did he send letters to you?
Yes.
Did the two of you continue your relationship?
Yes.
Did you speak to his mother on the phone?
Yes.
And his mother's name is what?
Teresa. We call her Tess.
Okay. Did you send letters to her?
Yes.
Did she send letters to you?
Yes.
Did you receive letters and correspondence from anyone else in the defendant's family?
His stepmom and his grandmother.
And did there come a time when the defendant and his family stopped communicating with you?
Yes.
When was that?
Right when I signed my plea deal.
I wonder what the family members think now. Do they think that Brendan was involved, or did they like think he's involved, but they don't care because like that's still his son or grandson, their grandson or son? I wonder what are their thoughts about this.
And after you were arrested, were you able to keep in touch with your family in Brazil?
After my arrest, yes.
Okay. And how was that possible?
Through Brendan's mom. She used to help us to communicate through a phone call, and she put money on my account so I can tax with my mom in Brazil, my family.
And did that support ever stop?
Yes.
When did that support stop?
When I signed my plea deal.
Yep, you signed the plea deal and they're like, we are not supporting her no more.
Judge, ask for the court's indulgence at this time.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's it. That's a direct examination. She is going to be cross-examined by the defense. And honestly, I think her demeanor changes a lot because when she's testifying for the state, she's kind of like a little bit meek, a little bit unsure, you know, like she has a hard time getting her thoughts together or even like understanding the questions at time. But when she's being cross-examined by the defense, she definitely turns it up a notch in terms of competency. She definitely comes across as a lot smarter than what I initially thought, and she was able to hold her ground against the defense attorney, who, by the way, the defense attorney, I kind of like him. He seems really polite. But yeah, she was able to hold her ground. She was able to snap back. She was able to pretty much almost go toe-to-toe with him. I would say the demeanor definitely changes. And instead of looking at this naive 24-year-old girl who was pulled into this, you know, this mastermind murder plot to murder the guy's wife and another guy, I feel like we actually get to see maybe the true Juliana. Juliana is not as naive as how she tries to come across as. She's a lot smarter than you think. But the defense attorney, when they are doing the cross-examination, they are really going to focus on the letters that she wrote to Brendan during that time, where she talks about she's like in pain, she's like tortured, she's like really sad, depressed, anxious, that she's like far and away from him, and that, you know, law enforcement wants her to cooperate against Brendan. And then there's some more letters that she sends to him where she's like, you know, I can't believe I'm facing life for someone. You know, things weren't supposed to be that way, right? There's also letters that she writes to her mom, letters that she writes to her brother. She complains about the representation that she's getting. She doesn't like how it's being continued. I think like it happens maybe like twice, I think. She wants to go to trial so she can tell her story. She again was offered a misdemeanor. Okay. She was facing 2nd-degree murder, but they were like offering her a misdemeanor and time served. She rejects it. I wonder what the attorneys thought of that. Well, actually, you know what, the attorneys, I mean, they are looking for her best interest, but at the same time, they are still being funded by Brennan and his family. So if she accepts the misdemeanor, oh gosh, how does that work with attorneys then? Because the attorneys are being paid by Brendan. Of course, Brendan doesn't want her to accept the misdemeanor because then she would have to turn him in. Isn't that like a weird conflict right there? Oh man, I wonder what kind of advice they were giving her. But she does sign the plea deal. And the defense attorney, they're trying to say that, hey, you know, the reason why she turned Brendan in is because she was just trying to save her skin, that she comes up with this fake story that her and Brendan made this fake FetLife account for Christine, that Brendan was the one who orchestrated this whole thing, that Brendan was the one who stabbed Christine, that Brendan was the one who told her to, you know, kill Joe Ryan. Oh boy. They're essentially saying that she just got really desperate and she was doing whatever she can to save herself. And she's a liar. You can't believe her. She's a liar. You know, when you're being incarcerated for a year, of course, you know, who wouldn't be desperate in her position? So they're really focusing on that, on all the letters that she wrote and how she was getting really desperate. And then she was pissed that Brennan wasn't like responding to her as much anymore, maybe visiting her. I don't know, something like that. But honestly, when we were going through the cross-examination, I didn't really feel like there was any like aha moment where the defense was able to really dispute her story. I think she came across as, you know, quite genuine when it comes to telling the plans that went down between the two of them, how it went down. And I'm sure the evidence, you know, as the investigators are questioning her about this, they're making sure that her story is corroborated by the evidence. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, and then after that, we got to hear from like the experts. There was a woman who did like the blood examination. Essentially, the testimony was that Joe's body was manipulated after he was shot, and it seems like he was manipulated in a way to make it seem like, you know, he was not, to seem like he was the attacker of Christine. There's a part in her testimony. Did I skip over it, or did it not stand out to me? But there was a part in her testimony where she said that they were collecting blood from Christine and dripping it over Joe. I meant to revisit that part, but I think I might have accidentally jumped through it. I don't think so though. But yeah, that part was kind of wild too. I have to go back to that. Was that in arrested into the, oh, you know what? I think it was on the same day. Let me see. Came close. So she came close. Yeah. Brennan got a handful of the victim's blood and dripped it on, was it Christine's body or Joe's body? I'm going to go back and listen to that. Hey, how's it going? How are you doing today? Hello, hello. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Pandoras. How are you doing today? Yeah, I mean, after she serves her time, yeah, she for sure will get deported back to Brazil. For sure. I don't doubt that part of her wanted to come clean. Very Dostoevskian. Dostoevskian. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Yeah, I think like, you know, you're young, you did something really fucking stupid, you're a fucking idiot, and maybe there is still some humanity left in her where she was like, one, I don't want to serve life. Two, what happened was really fucked up. People deserve to know the truth, and yeah, you know, maybe she felt some guilt, but I think at the end of the day, people are always gonna choose saving their skin more than anything. Yeah, that's a mouthful. It is. Dostoevsky. It's hard for me to pronounce that. Oh boy, always get your own attorney, even if it's a public defender. I mean, she's young. What the hell does she know, right? I'd be like, yeah, I'm getting a. Well, she probably thought that Brendan was going to be on her side no matter what. But, you know, if she's going to be offered that plea deal, I mean, she said no to misdemeanor. She said no to misdemeanor. I wonder what was she looking at with a misdemeanor? We could probably find out. All right, y'all. So I think that will be it for today. It is about lunchtime or late lunch for me, and I'm getting really hungry. Tomorrow, though, join us for tomorrow. We are going to be streaming tomorrow, and we are going to watch the body cam footage together. They played the body cam footage in the courtroom, but they didn't show the actual footage. We have the body cam footage, so we're going to watch it together. And again, I did a scrubbing, like a very quick scrub of the body cam footage. You're not going to see anything gruesome, grisly, or anything like that. But what you will see in the body cam footage, by the way, the body cam footage was an exhibit that the defense wanted the jury to see. So I think the defense wanted the jury to see that Brendan was really upset when law enforcement was on the scene, that he was crying, that he was barely able to stand. So they're going to show him being transported through the ambulance to the hospital, where he finds out that Christine was killed or she didn't make it. The doctor comes in and was like, hey, your wife didn't make it. You're going to see his reaction to it. He was unable to stand. You're going to see the part where he washes his hands. So law enforcement is going to testify and say that, yeah, you know, I felt bad for the dude. He was crying. There was like, I think there was like snot probably everywhere. And he let Brendan wash his fucking hands. Like, I get it, you know? When this is happening, you're trying to be a human, right? You're trying to have sympathy for the poor guy because, you know, he just went through a very traumatic thing where he saw his wife getting murdered, if you believe his story. But the officer does let Brendan wash his hands. And with that, there goes bye-bye all the evidence. And we see that on the body cam footage. We see Brendan was like unable to stand. And at some point, he was praying with the, I don't know, I think like is it called chaplain? He was praying with someone. Someone came in to like basically console him and pray. So I think the defense was just trying to show that, hey, look at this guy. He was generally really upset that his wife had been killed. But I have not seen the actual footage yet. Again, I've only scrubbed through it. So we'll see if, if I was the jury, what would I think about this body cam footage? So tomorrow we'll watch that together. And the thing about this trial that I've been hearing some rumblings that the defense has signaled Brendan is going to testify. Now, I don't know what he's going to testify about. You know, maybe Brendan will say that I absolutely had no involvement in the creation of the FetLife account. Or maybe he'll say that, yeah, you know, this vixen here, she convinced me to murder my wife. I was hesitant, you know, I wasn't sure if I was going to go along with it. I wasn't sure if I was going to agree to it, but we created this account, you know, and she was the one that lured the guy in. She was the one that called him. She was the one that texted him. And on the day of, I actually was hesitant about following through with the plan. So she was the one that actually stabbed Christine. She was the one that shot Joe. Yep. We'll see. We'll see if he changes the story. We'll see what happens. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Again, have your notifications on for YouTube. Feel free to join Discord. Have your notifications on there as well, so you guys know when we're going to go live. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's nice to be streaming again. I miss you guys. Good to be live on Twitch and on YouTube. See ya, Pedo Kev. Other than that, though, I will probably do a video recap of this trial for those of you guys who haven't seen it, just so you guys can know the other details about this. But I mean, at the heart of it, it's her testimony. It's her testimony right here. Now, I will say, though, when we got to the blood expert, you know how the state puts so much emphasis on the evidence, the blood evidence for this case. When we got to the blood expert and towards the end of it, I just didn't really feel that satisfaction where I was like, oh my gosh, like I was looking forward to the testimony and my expectations were met or exceeded. I just felt like, oh, like that was kind of confusing. I don't know how I feel about that, but the au pair's testimony to me was pretty compelling. What time roughly and what time zone? Well, what time did I start today? I think tomorrow, I'm going to try to aim for around like between 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, 11. So what I did today was I had a scheduled stream. I mean, it was like a 8 minutes like heads up notice, but have your Discord message on if you guys have Discord. If you don't have Discord though, you only have YouTube, that's fine too. But I will try to aim for 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. Hey, Gio, how are you doing today? How's it going? Hello. So I will see you guys tomorrow. We will watch the body cam footage and let's see. Let's see if Brendan looks very genuine. Let's see if he puts on the performance of his lifetime. You know, maybe it's not convincing. Maybe he does a Wendy Adelson. We'll have to see about that. And by the way, I haven't heard any news about Wendy Adelson. I do have there's some other cases that I have. I got some court docs. I haven't reviewed it yet, but we might have some other stuff to review for other previous cases. We also have it. Oh my gosh, Shiro. I think Shiro's gassy. Oh my gosh, Shiro. Oh, I think he's a gassy boy right now. I need to open the door. Oh my gosh, I'm being gassed in here. All right, Shiro says hi, and I hope you guys are doing well. I think he's dreaming right now. But he's a gassy boy. He's dreaming right now, and his little paws are flickering. So I'm gonna take him outside. We're gonna go hang out, and I'm gonna eat a late lunch. Oh my gosh, that is. I mean, I'm the one that fed him, I guess. All right, y'all. I will see you guys tomorrow. We do have a second channel where the vlogs are uploaded. Feel free to check it out if you guys want to. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. If you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe button. We'd love to have you guys come back again, say hello, stop by the live streams. Don't forget to like the stream if you guys enjoyed today. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Your 11 a.m. is my 7 p.m. Well, I hope that works for you. Later, Gators. I'll see you guys. For those of you guys who are experiencing the winter snowstorm, stay safe out there. I hope you're stocked up, get the foods and all that. And just be careful. Just be careful. Taxi, I'm going to hide that message. Okay, we got to hide that message. All right, see you guys. Have a good one. Take care. See you guys in the Discord. Oh my goodness, Shiro, you're killing me, Shiro. Ah! Oh my God. Shiro.